Hi there, everybody, and welcome once again to the Shenanigans. We hope you are ready for a fun night. We're certainly ready for one. We will. We are here for our regular D&D sessions. We are missing Stephanie and Daniel tonight. Stephanie is out of town, and Daniel had other things come up. Hopefully we will have them back next week. Although there's some question marks on Steph on that, but that's neither here nor there. We're glad you are here with us tonight, and we are going to have a lot of fun. Just a few quick reminders. We do have a YouTube channel. All of the videos do wind up on that channel. Once I remembered to put them up. I think I may have missed last week's.
You did.
So I try to be better about that. Doesn't always work. But the video content does wind up on YouTube eventually. You can always go out there, check in on any past episodes that you might have missed. I don't have a custom URL yet, but you can go out there and just search for Casual Cactus. Casual with a C, Cactus with a K. Once you're there, if you haven't already, do hit like and subscribe. Help us grow the YouTube side of things. Make sure that you toggle the notification icon so that anytime we put new content out there, you'll get the notification and you'll be able to know when that happens. We do also run a Discord server. That is the best place to go and keep tabs on any announcements we have regarding the schedule for a given week. We do try and make sure that we post any updates to our regular schedule there. Just recently, of course, we've changed from 6 o'clock to 6:30. I think that's going to stick going forward. But if we ever have a week that we might miss, those announcements will be on the Discord. So be sure that you are tapped into that and paying attention to that as well. I don't think I've got anything else. Does anyone else around the table have something that they want to say anything about?
Thanks for subscribing, Steven.
Yep.
Well, there you go. If there's nothing else,
Creating his own hype, that's fine.
If there's nothing else, then who would like to give us a recap?
Let's see how good notes I took. I'm just gonna call not it this time.
I think I took decent notes. We'll get to the last thing I wrote in a second. Alright, so we begin by planning a stupid mission to go and figure out the ghost/body stuff.
Yeah, we do.
Cabin and Killian have a big argument about whether or not breaking in the middle of the night is our best option. It's not. But Mal decides to get a room like a sane person. He's going to sell the inn a keg that will gain us late night access to the bar. Killian makes an aerator out of junk drawer stuff. We head back into town with Simi doing acrobatics on the keg. Back to the hunting magistrate, Milo makes a pretty penny off of Simi's performance. Killian, Mal, and Milo talk to the proprietor, and Milo notices that a half-orc... notices a half-orc, and his little heart flutters. We all go out back...
Can I just say, from a role-playing standpoint, that's not what I was going for. But it's the direction it went.
I was gonna say, but everyone took it that way,
Yeah.
so that's what
I was trying to make it myself look inconspicuous.
And we were like, yeah,
And-
no.
Oh, he's got a crush. Yeah.
It's okay.
Sorry
Simi
about
won't
that.
push you that direction.
Neither will Cabbage.
It's not you two I'm worried about.
I know.
That's fair.
You don't think he's learned his lesson?
Alma died. That didn't even humble
Ooh.
him.
That's too soon.
Fair point.
Oh, Milo has a type. Apparently.
Okay, well, we all go out back and sample the whale. which is wine and ale.
Oh.
Steven missed an opportunity there.
Nope, Steven purposely did not say that.
We sampled a whale.
Is it hit? Really, never mind.
The guy likes it and says that he will need to try the stuff actually in the barrel, but we can bring it by tonight. He starts hinting that there's a ghost. Delves just out and says it. Deception. It doesn't work, but he doesn't push it. Ghost's been here for as long as memory. We start talking to Tommy. He doesn't remember anything from a few days ago. We take him back to camp, and Argon killed the badger.
I watched that back and love your reactions. Just like, well, look at you!
You're such a good boy!
We're so glad you're alive. We decide that Tommy is a likely stray and we'll take him in. We sort of fill him in a little bit, but he doesn't really know things, so it doesn't really matter.
Accurate.
Yep. This is definitely a biased recap in the best kind of way.
These are very much cabbage notes. Yes.
Yep.
Milo gets flustered and turns Mal into a bunny. Milo goes to turn Mal back into a person and apologize, but a hawk grabs him. Luckily, all ends well. We head back to town to go talk to a ghost. We've probably got a side quest on our hands. Ghost lady is waiting for her husband, and he's been gone a week too long. The back wall isn't a real wall, and it attacks us. Bartender is astounded. There's a false wall.
Can I just say, I was gonna be so upset with you if you made that freaking wall a mimic, and that it was just coming to kill us. I was just like, Keith, you maniacal bastard! We're about to die in a bar.
Bless you.
Bless you.
It's worse than some of the other. Worse than some of the other places
You get
we
one
could
more.
have died.
No.
Anyway, the wall attacks us. Blah blah blah. Killian can do stone things and is going to take out bits of wall. Cabbage wriggles into the space. It looks like the false wall was built up around rubble and Elise the ghost skeleton. She has a crushed skull and a locket. Cabbage very respectfully and very timidly takes it. Killian does some last rites, kind of. Life and death both show up. Ghost lady needs closure. We definitely have a side quest on our hands. The locket has a sketch of Elise and Tatankin, her husband, with very old runes that mean something along the lines of eternal love. We are going to see what we can do in a week as far as getting her back to getting her closure. And then the very last thing that I wrote down with no context just says butter nugget fly.
Yep, better not get fly.
I don't actually remember,
Neither do I.
but I wrote it
Daniel
down.
said
It's
it.
there.
Yeah, Daniel said it, but I don't
I
remember
don't
why
remember
he
the
said it.
I don't
context,
remember what the
but
context
I
was.
remembered it was funny.
Also, life and death appearing at the body is like asking, calling a midwife and a mortician to a dead body and just being like, which one of you is supposed to take care of this?
Midwife's
We
like,
do here.
I think you're about 20 years too late.
Oh, goodness.
Anybody have anything else they want to add?
No,
Nope.
I think you about covered
I
it.
think you about covered it.
Well done.
Well done.
Well
Good
done.
job. Good job. All right. So, where did we leave off with you guys? Were you guys still at?
I remember his butter nugget fire.
we were at camp and we were going to try to see how far we could get getting Elise closure.
Okay.
And
Oh, no,
we were
yeah, we
gonna-
did go back to camp.
Because you
Yeah.
I
put
brought
the
the
bones in
bones
the...
in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Oh yeah, we were discussing that I have the opportunity to turn individuals into horses and unicorns and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, you could
And
turn
then-
me into a bird.
Yeah, and then something about a butter nugget fly.
All right.
I think it was something Daniel said and he just mumbled enough that we thought he said butterfly.
Yeah, something like that.
But then it stuck.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's stuck.
All right.
Like a
Nat,
butter nugget fly does.
odds or evens?
Odds. Oh my gosh. Odds.
If the odds be ever in your favor.
Okay. All right. So the night passes. We will assume that the regular watches were set. Cycle through them. Nothing much really happens over the course of the night. So as you get up, and I'm assuming Milo, you make
I
breakfast.
make breakfast. Yeah.
Everyone gets up, gathers around the breakfast table. What is the discussion?
So I was thinking about this last night. I don't think we're gonna have any luck with the scrap of paper from the library because that was like 3,000 years ago, and as far as I could see in the town, there's no library. So, does anyone have any ideas of how we're gonna find an elven ruin? I feel like Killian, that's kind of your purview of finding weird things in the woods.
I mean, if
He
we
almost died in the woods several times.
Did he?
Did I?
Remember at the very beginning of this whole shenanigans, and you couldn't find your way home and had to stay the night in like a tree or something?
I didn't almost die. I just
Yeah, you might as well.
spent the night in the cold.
So I
What
had
you
an
didn't know
idea
was the
about
cougar stalking
finding it, but it would require us to have at least a general direction.
Well,
Because the table could be used to detect any of the residual magic that I'm sure is still there if it's been hidden. But we have to, I think you said 5 miles is the range
Yeah,
on
currently
that.
it has a 5-mile range.
So,
what if... Because I don't think that a scrap of paper is going to do us any good. There's not going to be a scrap of paper that's lasted that long. But what if we try to find if there's some kind of storyteller in town?
I mean, I went to a bookshop yesterday and got a recipe book. They might have something.
It's worth looking. And I guess any of the taverns or whatnot might have some bards that are local to the area that might pass around some old stories.
That's true.
Keith.
Yes.
So I have my hummingbird searchers that I can task with finding things or people.
Okay.
The way we had it set up, it's not entirely clear. I need to have some way to give them the scent. Would a picture of Tatonkin be enough to put them on the trail? Or
That is a very good question.
Or would Elise's bones be able to put them on the?
we don't
Like
have
I
to-
don't
That's
know
her
how I don't know
bones.
how what kind of connection something needs to have to him for me to be able to start using them.
You're pretty sure her bones probably would not.
Right.
You're not sure about the sketch. I guess it would kind of depend on whether he had handled it or not, and that's something you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't know. It's worth a try.
Okay.
Maybe?
You still haven't told us about the locket, right?
No.
Okay. Yeah. That's-
Well, if they were supposed to be back within a week, that means there is a window of 3 days of travel that...
No, because we don't know when they left, and all we know is they were supposed to be back within that week. They could have been traveling for 6 months before that. Like, we don't know how far away it would be. As far as I know, I haven't heard anything of elven ruins out this direction, right? My grandparents, the elves I've talked to, nobody ever talked about the elf
No.
stuff being around, right? Yeah.
No, but then they didn't talk about elf stuff a lot
Yeah.
anyway. I mean, there was a little bit just keeping the culture alive kind of thing, but not so much about where they actually came from.
I feel like that is a missed opportunity if you're trying to keep the culture alive, that you never talk about where it came from.
I mean, they may not know at this point.
It's true.
It
Especially with, like, his mum trying to, stamp
Yeah.
out
well,
everything that's not her.
and even before that, like the story goes that
You know who would
their
be...
forest was destroyed, and ever since then we've wandered.
You know who
the
would be
land,
really good
so-
on this situation? Mizuki. Because
Right.
I'm sure Vinas might know of where this ancient ruin
Ooh,
would
yeah.
be. since it's part of civilization.
Vinosh!
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
Works for Killian sometimes.
I'd like to place a call. If you have time, Vinas.
Please insert 3.
Hold, please.
Didn't Mizuki leave us with sending stones?
I do have a
yeah.
sending stone that could reach out to them.
Potentially, we could ask Mizuki. I'm not being cabbage.
Didn't Mizuki leave some way to contact her?
I mean, yeah.
So maybe.
Way to stick to character.
So maybe we could ask her to ask her god of civilization if there is any ruins nearby. Nearish by.
I mean, we could. I did ask Death if there were any ruins nearby, and he didn't know anything.
I feel like you might know well.
I mean, if it's a place of death,
Well,
presumably
ruins
he knows
doesn't
about it.
necessarily mean death. It could
But
just
there
be
was like
abandoned.
6 people that went.
Right, but nobody said that they died at the ruins.
That's true.
Keith, what's the terrain like outside? Like, so if we assume that they're within a week's travel from here,
Okay.
what's the terrain like?
Okay, so the terrain sort of outside town is kind of sparsely wooded. You're in the foothills, so there's a little bit of sparse woodlands around, and as you travel west down river, it sort of gives way to rolling plains.
So probably in the forest somewhere. Unless
I mean, I could have Hector scout around and see if we find anything,
I could
but
do the
I
same
don't.
thing with
Yeah,
Ingir.
Hector.
His
Mike Bird?
I
His
thought
name
that
is
was-
Hector?
I thought his name was Archon.
No, not Argon. Mike Hector, the hawk.
I thought your
Oh, okay.
horse's name was Hector.
No, the
it's
horses
Jonathan.
are named Cobalt and Jonathan.
How could you forget about Jonathan?
Well, I remembered Kobold because it sounds a lot
Because
like
you're gonna
Cobalt.
go over and pull Hector the hawk out of his bag of holding. So I have this mechanical hawk. This would be Hector.
He has a whole mechanical menagerie.
Hi,
He
Hector.
flies around and finds things and tells us about them.
You know, if we ever need, like, a side job or something, we could have your mechanical menagerie.
You mean other than the fact that they are blatantly magic, right?
I mean, you BS your way out all kinds of things.
I don't think
Coming
I can BS
from
my way
you.
out of that.
It was a respect
Anyways,
thing.
I'll set Hector down on the table. So, like, I could have him fly around, but that it'll only work if they're within. If the actual ruin is only within, a couple days' flight from where we are.
Oh, this would be so much easier if they hadn't been dead for like 3,000 years.
True.
Yeah, it probably would. And
And I
more
don't.
than that, though.
And I
because
could send Ingir, but other than
it
that,
was
I
a
don't have any
ruin
way of
3,000 years ago.
finding out where it is. So,
We don't even know that they're at the ruins.
well, we have to assume
No,
they
but
at
if we
least made
find
it.
the ruins, we could probably trace the path that they would have taken from
Potentially,
here.
Yeah.
they could have died like a day outside of town, a
Mm-hmm.
mile outside of town.
It's
Yeah.
true. But at least that narrows down the path that they were probably on.
And I'll be
Better
honest,
than what we've got now.
I mean, I would like to find them to give her closure, but I am more interested in the elven ruin part of this.
That's true.
Because we don't really know anything about this volcano ruin fire stuff and what we're expecting. Like, at least with the dwarf city, we kind of knew about it a bit. I have no idea what we're looking for, what we might be walking into. No clue. So
Maybe you could become the king of that thing.
I don't want to be the king of that thing.
Yeah, but imagine a giant forge made out of an entire volcano. Imagine the things you could make out of that.
I don't think you understand how forges work.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
At least he's honest.
It's like an oven, right? You stick things. Never mind.
That's not entirely wrong, but just because it's big.
Ah,
and
so I do
hot
have a
doesn't make
small
it
grasp.
You know that there's fire
Yes.
involved. Good job.
work.
Yes, it's a start.
Okay. Alternatively, oh, we could, if we could find something that he owned, or that was like something that was connected to him, I might be able to use my hummingbirds to find him.
I didn't see anything else back there, though.
I know.
sort
That's
of
like I don't know where we'd go to find something connected to him. It's been too
Unless
long.
they had a house in town.
But it's 3,000 years ago.
Like
Yeah.
maybe a locket?
I mean, maybe if it's his locket, yeah.
Well, Elise had a locket.
Oh,
I took it from the body. And that sounds awful to say, which is why I wasn't gonna say it. I just wanted to return it somewhere. Put it somewhere. I don't know. I don't want to keep it. Don't look at me like that. I just feel like it needs to be buried.
My face just looks like that.
Okay, well,
Wasn't
I don't
looking
know.
at you like anything.
It has a picture of Elise and a Tongan person with some
A
really
Tongan person?
a Tonka truck.
with some really old dwarven runes that essentially mean eternal love.
Would that be
Shit's
able
worth
to?
a check.
Would that be able to work?
I don't know. I don't know if it was just hers
maybe.
or if maybe he gave it to her.
I mean,
don't
on the
know.
bright side, if it's going to lead us to her, I feel like it's going to be a pretty short trip. Her bones are right over there.
That's true.
Fair
It's not
point,
like we
actually.
really have to, like,
Well, you might as well
we
give
won't
it to
be
go.
And if it-
massively
And
disconnected
if it leads
from our
us
path.
to where her ghost is, again, that's not actually that far away, so
It's not really a
It might
high risk
work.
situation, yeah.
What do you need to do with it then?
go over and get out one of my hummingbirds.
Okay.
I'll just hold it up to him. I'll be like,
Be careful.
all right, you. You see the dwarf?
Which one?
The dwarf? Find whatever's left of him or where he was. You think you can do that? All right, off you go.
So it pops up.
Look which direction. Which way?
Well, that's promising.
Oh, we don't have to worry about which way it came. Once it finds it, it'll come back and show us the route it flew.
Okay.
So it did zip off back towards town.
That's not promising.
It might not work, but you know, it's what we got.
Well, should we finish
Towards
breakfast
Edgerton?
and see if it comes back?
Setterton?
No, towards Lamont's Wells.
Oh. I
Lots
forgot that we
wells.
were a little bit out of it.
Would they have, if there were old records when the Empire came to Lamont's Wells initially,
Right.
would they have destroyed them?
They would have only destroyed. You can correct me.
Mm-hmm.
They would have only destroyed. They would have only destroyed papers and records that would have dealt with magic and places like that. Other records they would have kept, but it would
And-
depend on who was in charge of them and how well
would
they
they
were
have
kept.
left the records here, or would they have packed them up?
It would depend.
They can go
Lamont's
ask.
Wells is a medium city, or is it a pretty big city?
As cities go, it's sort of middle to small.
Okay.
But city, not it. It hasn't bumped down to town yet.
Right.
So
I'm-
it's
I'm wondering if either the archives got damaged when the lake flooded the city.
Make a history check.
So maybe the archives are just buried somewhere. Or maybe they like the archives are still here, they just don't get active use. But then we might still be able to find the archives.
Do you think it would be weird of me to go and ask?
So you do recall
I mean,
that, and it's sort of it's kind of quiet, but you do recall that some of your history of the Empire lessons indicate that sanitizing of history
Mm-hmm.
got worse as the eons passed.
More laxed, or
No,
or like more scrubbed.
more scrubbed
Okay.
as the eons passed. So if
Okay.
it was early in the period of the Empire,
Right.
it might have gotten filed away and forgotten, or so it's kind of
If we can find somewhere that would hold it, I'm not sure. We would have to search Lamont's Wells and see if there's like a record place.
I mean,
But it wouldn't. But if it's still around, it would not be tainted by imperial scrubbing. Changing and washing the history of the empire to favor the empress.
So this does bring up another
That's
interesting
messed up.
question that I don't know the answer to.
Hmm.
When they scrubbed the records, did they destroy information that was contradictory, or is there a repository of that information? It's just off limits to most people.
you don't know that.
I wouldn't know that. I would feel like if it's old enough, it's just papers. You can just stuff that in a box, and no one's gonna look for it if you just pile stuff on it.
But you
Well,
don't
peop-
know if they're okay.
I don't know if the Empire keeps records.
Danny?
Would I know based on like with any of the cloister work or anything like that? Would they have done any of the records, vault keeping, whatever like that?
So you do know that the Order kept records, and it was sort of a wide-ranging variety of things that were available to research. There wasn't anything that you had access to that was explicitly heretical and went against this idea of the divinity of the Empress. You do know there were sections, at least of the libraries in the cloister in the capital, that you were not allowed into, and lower initiates and novices were not allowed into.
So I suppose while we're waiting for your hummingbird, we can either sit here for a moment, or we could go. Actually, we should probably stay here, because if the hummingbird is just coming back with the information of her ghost, then I don't think we want
Right.
the hummingbird coming to you in the middle of town. So.
Something we can do that I actually hadn't thought of till Mal sort of mentioned it, and I'm gonna go walk over and get my sand table set up
Okay.
and see what sources of magic are within 5 miles of us.
That's
That
a very
Should
interesting
probably do
question.
this every new place we go to, but
Oh, not a bad idea.
Take notes.
Um,
An underground magic shop.
Goodness.
Interesting question.
Very interesting question. So, Lance, odds or evens?
odds.
Okay. That is very interesting. Okay. What do I have?
And if we can find, if there are people who dabble in magic here in town, they might know more about where we could find local secret record type stuff.
That's true.
But we also have to be careful because there could be somebody who just happens to have a magical vase.
Oh
I
no,
don't
we'll
know
have
if
to
it's magical.
investigate it. But
Is there a cloister here?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. Is there an FBI building?
All right.
the Gestapo have.
So let's take this sort of in
Sequence.
turn.
Uh-huh.
So you were setting up your table.
Yep.
How long does that take you to?
Because I keep it hidden, it probably takes as much as 5 minutes to get it all
Okay.
set up.
So once you've got it all set up, you turn it on, and there are actually 4 blips that, as you're looking at it, seem to be coming from town. One of them is a lot bigger than the other 3.
That's not good. Or it's great.
Where are these four blips located?
Being very powerful.
Well, you haven't been to any of the 4 locations in
So
town.
I don't need to have been because my sand table forms a map of
Okay.
within 5 miles, so I can at least be like, so it's down.
So
this
you've
street
got
and over here,
so
and
yeah
over
so
here.
you've got 4 locations in
Okay.
town.
Do
Cabbage, if you
generally are they just like? Do they seem to be just residential houses? Do they seem is one of them a cloister? Is one of
One of them is actually a relatively large building.
Okay.
You don't. I mean,
Yeah, no,
you
yeah.
don't know what its purpose is, but it's a relatively large building, near but not exactly in the center of town.
okay?
One of them is seems like a fairly small space on a corner of a couple of main thoroughfares. If you had to guess, you'd say it's probably a commercial district of some kind. One of them looks like it's in one of the warehouse districts down near the wharfs. And the last one, well, that can't be right. It's underground.
Bingo!
in town.
I think I
Your basement
have
is underground,
a
too.
lead.
What's a bingo?
I don't
It's-
know.
it's
It's just
the
an
car-
it's an elven word for I found
Dog.
it.
It's also a thing I have just been like mentally thinking right here whenever something goes wrong with the.
Okay,
Street.
so large.
It was that
You can
farmer
go to
back
whatever
in-
she's
back
doing.
in
We'll
town.
come back to that. I'm gonna
Old
make sure.
McDonald's.
And bingo was a
So you were. Remind me, you were coming up through the division of the order that hunted magic items, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Wrong two.
So yeah,
I
as
hate it when
part
that
of
happens.
as part of that, you would have some passing familiarity where the order had planted locations, headquarters, what have you, and there is one in Lamont's Wells. You don't know exactly where it is in town. The last time you were in Lamont's Wells, you were kind of delirious and
We still don't know
recovering,
if they
so
have magic eyes.
that was sort of foggy.
That's why we had the animals.
and so you know you were there, but you couldn't. You don't think you could find it without a little bit more information to go on. But you know there is one.
Okay.
To verify, Keith. Large building near the center of town.
Mhm.
Blip on the corner in the commercial district.
Mhm.
Underground. What was the last one?
A warehouse near the wharfs.
So
We're
once you're
checking
humming,
all of these, right?
yeah.
I mean,
as soon as
yeah,
the hummingbird gets
but-
back, we're just gonna go wander around. Cause yeah,
How do you spell wharf?
WHARF.
I knew there was an H in there
James.
somewhere.
If we need to see if we can find any historical information left behind, I mean, there's the place, and we can check the place out. If we need any written information, I might be able to get some access if I go to the cloister. I brought my robes, so they would at least give me surface entry.
Keep that on the table, but I don't know if we want to raise suspicion.
Yeah, that might, because
As much as they
presumably there are people hunting you. I am assuming at this point that all of us are wanted.
assume we are all wanted.
So I'd be hesitant
Okay, that's fair.
going into the cloister and saying, hey, here I am, just in case, because then people can trace us. But,
I kind of forgot we were wanted for a second. I'm not used
well,
to
okay, so that's the other thing.
We don't know.
We don't know that we're, the only one we know for sure is wanted is him. I'm just assuming we all are to
That's
play it
probably
safe.
fair.
Well,
Safe
and
or-
potentially Mizu, but she's not with
Right.
us.
that. Yeah.
Now, you might know. So obviously they would destroy any information about magic
Right.
or about like gods or anything that counteracts or contradicts the Empress being divine.
yes.
Did they destroy records about past civilizations, like location information, that sort of thing?
I don't think they would, but there might be a division of the cloister of the Impellian Order that deals in historical stuff like that or something like that?
You don't know of anything like that.
I can ask Akarai. Do I know of anything with that?
You don't.
Okay.
No conversations were had
No.
or anything like that. I can at least send to Akarai.
Maybe
Let's
not. Maybe not like a big group, but maybe
Well, so,
maybe smaller groups would be
so
interested.
what I'm wondering is if they have this information in a cloister, is it the sort of thing we can go ask for, or is it the sort of thing we're going to have to break into the cloister to get access to?
Probably the second.
That's what I assume.
Yeah.
Oh, we're back to
I'll
B&E.
ask. Yeah, I'll ask just to see, because I feel like asking first, since it's Akarai.
Except then, asking Akarai. Yeah, absolutely. I thought you meant ask at the cloister in town. I was like, let's not.
No.
I'd rather break in first than do that,
The-
honestly.
the person that actually would know that doesn't want us dead or anything like that.
No,
I
that's a
feel
good
like feel like that would be a better way to go. I'll just. I'm just gonna wander over to the corner for a minute and see if I can get him on the line.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey,
So
yo,
you
baby.
can't get him on the line. You just have to send him a message, 25 words or less,
And then he'll respond.
and then he'll respond when he gets it.
So hey, how do I word this? No, that's Danny thinking out loud. Turd.
I know, that sounded pretty seamy to me.
You're not wrong, but I feel like she would know. And it was like, do they destroy it? Is it kept? What's our
All I
main
want to
thing
what I want to
remaining?
know is if information about like the location or the details of past or other civilizations before the Empire, is that information kept somewhere, and is it like restricted? Who
Okay.
can access it?
So, let's see.
Hey there.
Yeah, so hey, is information on older civilizations retained? And is it accessible or restricted? By the cloister. Miss you.
You have 6 more words if you'd like, or you can just end it there.
I'll just end it there, thanks.
I'll just end it.
That's exactly. I'll just end it there. Thanks.
Being respectful to my overlord, Magic Rock.
So as far as I understand it, with the ones that I gave Akarai, whenever he
Sexy.
accesses it, he'll get any messages that were sent, so you can
Not with
decide
everybody
when,
knowing that I'm
at what
talking
point
to
he
it.
actually like gets it and responds. Basically, it sits in the answering machine.
Yeah. You know, it's sitting on his dresser. It's little red light bleeping.
You have one new message. First new message from.
So hey.
See me?
Okay.
All right.
Oh, am I supposed to be leaving a message?
Is the hummingbird showed up yet?
Ooh, my hummingbird would have shown up on my.
Mm-hmm.
Do I see one of those dots rapidly moving through town?
So you do see like a little tiny dot moving through town.
Just gotta
It's like
zoom in.
Yep.
it is compared to the others. It's a lot smaller.
Oh yeah.
So you have to be watching really closely to see it. It's like 2 or 3 grains of sand.
Yep.
And it's sort of zipping around wherever, and it finally makes its way through town to the big group, and it sort of buzzes all the way
big-
around it,
the
Yeah,
big-
big blip.
buzzes all the way around it, sort of disappears into the blip for a little bit,
I don't like that.
and then a couple minutes later pops back out, and then starts to make a beeline back to the camp.
Well,
We need to figure out what that big building is.
something's cut. Well, my hummingbird is on its way back.
Cool.
according to my map.
So did it just go over back to where it
Nope,
died?
nope. It went to the big blip of magic in the big building in the middle of town.
Cool.
Ooh, okay.
Great.
I'm gonna
that's-
arm wrestle Tommy. Well, he's not here, so I can't lose.
Nor can you win.
But I can't lose.
Alright, so
That's the more important thing here.
Yeah.
wandering around town, seeing what these
We'll
books
wait.
are.
We'll wait for the hummingbird. to
Oh,
come
of course, but
Yeah, I say we go check out these 4 different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every time we stop at a new place, I should probably look and see what kind of magic is around.
Probably.
Mal, do we need to get
Good
you
idea.
some more brewing supplies?
I think I'm mostly okay for now, but
I had an idea.
Good.
okay.
Augur's Brew. That could be your label.
I like it.
Write that down, write that down, write that down.
So make an athletics check.
Oh no, we're gonna do this. Right? That's not gonna be great. 15.
Also a 15, so it's
Oh.
a tie.
So
Still
no one
make-
does
roll
well.
off.
9.
10.
Wanna try some different dice now?
Ow.
Hey,
What
maybe
just
that's
hit
what you
you?
needed. You needed a blood sacrifice to the dice.
What did you just?
Did you do?
What'd you do?
These ones are really sharp.
Oh,
Oh,
He poked himself.
Oh.
jeez.
Okay,
never trust
so
dice that can
your
drop blood.
hummingbird comes zipping back
I'm sure this one could if I tried.
and sort of hovers in front of you for a second. And then sort of
Oh,
waggles its wings and starts
Like go
starts off at a walking
tube
pace.
on your
So,
foot.
actually,
Oh.
what I set these up to do is so
worst
Killian will
label
get out a piece of
ever.
parchment, and the
Okay.
hummingbird can sit down on the parchment, and it puts its beak over it, and there's a little drop of ink that comes out of its beak, and then it magically creates a map that shows
And
where it went.
It also makes the dot matrix printer noises.
Okay. All right. So it did
Miss
sort
that
of
sound.
wander around town a little bit. It looks like it sort of centered on it flew by the hunting magistrate just a little bit. Went there for a couple of minutes, and then zipped off and went to a fairly large building towards the center of town. Has the look of maybe a church.
I know what that church is.
Great. Fantastic.
They built it on top of the church.
Okay, I'll put the hummingbird away. Well,
Okay.
that's
the church on
wonderful.
top of.
Yes, my apologies. Yeah, they built the church on top of the ruins.
Or
Or
that's the cloister.
oh,
Yeah.
oof.
Yeah. I mean, if it found the piece of paper that he had found, I mean, that's one of the places that I would assume in town it would have been put if they found it. But anyway, we'll go see.
Should we check out these other places first, or do we want to
Yeah.
check that one first?
I would do the big one last.
Sure, we'll do the big one last. The one underground was not the big one, right?
No.
Yeah. Well, we can do the big one last.
Well, or we should also wait on the underground one as well. Because
What?
I don't know how to get to the underground.
It
Well,
depends
yeah,
on
but I know
it is.
where it is underground, so we can go see at least like where underground it is.
Like, is it in a well? Is it
Okay.
in somebody's basement?
And then I can tell them they should line their basement with lead. Granted, I don't know what the cloister uses to find magic, so I assume lead blocks it because it seems to block all that. But
I
It's
would
like
know, right?
aluminum.
Like it's just like the people have the ability, right?
I think that's
They
very
use
that we.
magic to find
we
I
magic.
don't
think
know.
we have established you don't because I
Oh,
tried to
okay,
get
that's
Ackrai
right,
to
that's
tell
right.
me how they
Yeah.
could tell where
And
who had
Ackrai,
magic, and
Ackrai
wouldn't
had like
tell me.
like an oath thing that he
Yeah.
couldn't break to tell
Yeah,
us.
you hadn't quite gotten that high.
Because if I can know how they find magic, I can easily circumvent it. Problem is, I don't know how.
It might be sent.
Well, and for all I know, they have a little machine that beeps in the presence of magic. In which case, our
Just a
amulets are kind of
dowsing
screwed.
rod.
Yeah.
That's the most
Walks around
essential.
Like
with
just
clothes
dowsing
hangers.
rod.
It's like the security wand, and you go through the TS. Oh, magic!
It's just my belt.
Yep.
I think it's just like trained bloodhounds that just can just sniff magic. I don't know.
So,
Alright.
we'll head into town.
Which one
All
do you
right.
want to go to first?
Well, I don't.
We should leave some guards here at the
Right.
Shaggin.
So the new people get to guard the Shaggin. I'll take their silence as agreement.
Yep.
Okay.
And Argon can assist.
Gonna have to make him a little medal and like a little sash.
General Argon, defeater of badgers.
And
Crown of
he's here to do
laurels.
some business with a big iron on his hip.
Just like stuff his little wing into his breast feathers.
He duck walks across the crossbeams at the top of the patrolling.
Oh,
Alright.
like the vultures
Yeah,
in Robin
in
Hood.
Robin Hood. All right. Well, we got a warehouse on the wharf. We got a corner in a commercial district, and we got the underground.
Let's walk over the underground one first,
Okay.
because we might be able to get a better idea of what we're looking at there.
So
All right. So you have to pass through the center of town because the one that's underground
yeah, we might as well
is
get
a little bit to the north. You do go past the big blip in the center, and taking a look at it, yeah, that's a church.
Is that a church to my mother?
Yes,
Is
it
there
is.
any other kind?
Is there any other kinds? You do see members of the order, walking around inside the grounds.
I know
That's
we
what
shouldn't, but that would be a fun fight.
So you head north past the church, and you sort of, you're looking at your map, trying not to look like tourists.
Right.
And you
Excuse me, where is this on the map?
Trying not to look like
I'm looking for Sunset Boulevard.
and
the handprints.
you wind up there's sort of a green space, and it's surrounded by sort of upper crust hoity-toity, not mansions per se, but
Right,
but sort of estate
Mhm.
kind of things. And right over the center of this green space, and it's not a big green space, it's maybe 50
acre?
It's maybe 50 yards long and half that wide. It's in sort of this green courtyard area behind
Public
all
or
of these
private?
houses. I mean, it's public, but the passages to get to it between the houses are fairly narrow. The ones at either end it fronts street.
Okay.
In fact, on the east side of it, it fronts one of the smaller streams that runs through town.
Yeah.
And right over the center of this green space is where your biggest blip was.
And I assume there's nothing it's just an open.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just an open field.
I want you to know I just added something to the list of things Killian's going to have to make at some point.
Which is...
Ground penetrating radar.
You have your little buddy with you?
Yeah.
Have him look around?
Sure. I will.
So I guess we'll just wander around the park as if we're examining all...
So I will go into one of the little side alleys there,
Mm-hmm.
and I will just say to Max, "Hey, stay under the ground. There's something down there. Would you please go see what you can see?"
Okay.
You need to work on your direction giving abilities as the new king.
Yeah, he hasn't quite figured all of that out yet.
He'll need to pay he'll need to pay another tuition on the Milo.
I mean,
Uh,
I gave you several $100 worth of gold for your shield, so.
I know.
All right. So, any particular place while Max
Is
is
anybody
doing that?
in this, any of the hoity-toity people, anybody seem to be watching us?
No, not so
Yeah.
much. I mean, there are people passing through the green space, so you do see denizens of the particular houses, out on their back patios and upper balconies and things like that, just sort of enjoying the day.
There's no
but
trees in this space, right? It's like an open.
there are some trees, but it's park. It's like a park,
Yeah.
is what it is.
I'm gonna go look at each of the trees.
Okay.
While we're waiting, make sure they're real trees and there's not secret entrance or something.
They
from
are
said
all
trees.
real trees.
Okay.
Okay. How could you tell how far deep it was buried? Can I look around and see if maybe there's
Well,
just
actually,
like a...
I can tell you it's less than I think it's. Let me look it up. All the divination spells have something that's like unless it gets blocked by X amount of earth.
Dirt, stone.
And so let me look up how
Yeah.
much that is because it has to be above that.
Let's
But
see if perhaps something was buried, and if I can like see if there's like a small indent in the ground where, let's say, a box was buried, there would be
Mhm.
just a tiny bump of where the dirt was placed on top. If I can see anything like that.
You do not see anything
Okay.
like that.
so it's no more than 100 feet underground. Not that that particularly helps.
Yeah. I guess we'll just wait for Max.
Yeah.
Can sit in the yard like we're fancy people.
No one is going to look at us and believe that
We
we're
don't
fancy
look
people.
like fancy people.
I
Maybe
guess
you
None of us are
when you,
dressed
like,
fancy.
Get dressed up.
I don't get dressed up very often, although this is a lot nicer than what I usually wear. Because
Getting dressed up is terrible. People look at you.
I don't know, I've had a decent experience with it once.
That's because you have a boyfriend.
I didn't at the time.
But he became your boyfriend.
Nope, wasn't him.
Oh, right. Well, that doesn't count.
Still wasn't talking to the other one. I'm still not totally sure if we're
So
boyfriend or
in the
what.
alley, I'm just gonna drink a little bit in case anybody walks by. Then I'm just a drunk, as opposed to someone sitting in the alley normally.
Make me a perception check, and actually, you make me
Oh,
one
boy.
as well.
Perception, you say? My
Drag it, flies
specialty.
No.
17.
Oh,
17,
no,
okay.
No.
That was
7.
not terrible.
That's not terrible.
You are
As usual.
Blissfully unaware.
That's
blissfully
69 to
unaware,
what?
as always.
Yep.
So you do hear. So you're sort of making a lap of the green
Mhm.
space, and you get down to the eastern edge of it, and you do see the creek passing by
Yep.
through the center of town, and you realize that you're also hearing another little bit of running
Googling.
water joining up with it.
It's the magic water.
Which means you're the one who has to go get this.
Okay.
Go skinny dipping, please.
In the middle of
In
town.
the middle of
I was
town.
gonna say I'm gonna point out we can always come back at night.
Oh my gosh, not again.
Get used to it.
We have 7 days.
Also, get used to us doing things at night. That's how it's gonna work when we're in civilized spaces.
Why are we breaking and entering though?
This isn't breaking and entering.
I mean, this is kind of just.
So I can
water.
tell I would have to go through a...
So do you go looking for?
I suppose
Just-
I'll
just do
go
it.
look.
Just do it.
Yeah,
Get in the water.
I'll look.
Go, go, go.
No, I'm not going in the water,
Do
but
it.
I'll look and see if I can see.
Okay, so-
Whatever Steven tells you to do, don't do it.
That's really bad.
So you cross over the street, sort of lean against the stone railing that's there, and look down. And as you look down, you realize that right here at the very end of the park, there is a little drainage culvert that is draining down into the creek. Looks like it might be a storm sewer kind of thing.
Crick.
Okay, stop nodding at me.
Just do it. I know you want to do it.
I know I do, but
Just
it's
do
the
it.
middle of the
I
day.
feel like you would have said that even if you knew he didn't want to do it.
No.
That is true.
This is day 2.
Yeah.
I have to survive.
Just do it. What?
Day 2 of us being in the city.
Day 2 of the first town on our travels.
On a multiple month travel that we will be doing.
Yeah, we really can't have you die. Like,
No,
I mean, it would
no.
be funny if it did, but
Just go in there and don't die.
I mean, I don't know how I could turn into something.
Mm-hmm.
That could permanently change it back into Milo if we're not careful.
Do not listen to what Steven tells you.
True.
Ignore him. He is a
Mal
bad
is not
influence.
telling you this, by the way. This is Steven.
Yeah.
I will I will message Killian. I think I found a way to get down to it.
How?
There's a storm drain right here that seems like it leads down to wherever it is.
Have we seen like evidence as we walk through town that there's a sewer system that runs through town?
Make me a perception check.
Is there plumbing?
That's a good question.
Let's see what my perception gets. That's a 9.
Not that you've noticed.
I feel that.
I think that's the lowest I've seen you roll in a long time.
I know.
Disappointed.
We could. I mean, we could try and take a closer look at it. How big of a storm drain are we talking?
How big of a storm drain are we talking?
I mean, it's fairly large. You'll have to stoop to get through it, but you won't have to get down on all fours and crawl.
I mean,
Mal can stand up straight.
if I could probably go invisible and go down there, but I would have to find a place secretive to go invisible and look.
Steven's way too excited about that. You should really not.
If he's smart enough, if
I
he
mean,
is.
I will leave it up to you personally. I am inclined to say if we're going to explore it, let's come back after dark where we can all go down so that it's not just you. But your call.
Yeah, I suppose we should see what else there is before jumping down there.
We at least know what that is now. So.
Yes, so you can put in the notes that there's a storm drain in the park that leads under.
Max?
Bueller.
Max,
Bueller.
baby bully.
It's after you sent him down that you realize, I don't know how I'm going to know when he's done.
Yeah.
Hey, that's what happens when I use anger. When he's out within 100 feet.
So is he not a familiar for you? Can you not do the same, like, look through his eyes?
No, you have to be third level to get all of the good stuff.
Ah, okay.
So it is with the find familiar spell, but
Mhm. I mean, you can, with the find familiar spell, you can look through it.
okay. I would probably do that after a second when he's not back.
Oh yeah,
Don't
he's
touch
underground.
It's just
There's
dirt.
nothing to see.
You
Doesn't
don't
he have
have
tremor
tremor
sense?
Yes, but he doesn't have tremor sense.
Do you not get
Nope,
their
but-
senses when you ooh?
Hey,
Ooh.
buddy, you wanna come on back?
Dum, 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 dum. I
I'll just
really
poof him out.
Oh,
I really imagine in Max's head when he's underground like that, he dum 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 dum.
all right. So
Go check out the wharf next.
you
Yeah, he's just back.
he okay. Well, he's there and he sort of sits back on his haunches.
Anything
Covered in
good?
dirt.
He's covered in dirt, and you get sort of this crayon picture of him like digging his way through tunnels that he's making. There was one point where he hit something a little bit hard and decided to go around it.
All right.
You have a
Thanks, buddy.
niffler.
Yeah.
That's what you have.
And he's going back to the pocket dimension temporarily.
Okay.
We have a niffler.
But he's so cute.
All right. Well, so I will tell everybody. I'll be like, so well.
Mal will come
Once-
back
once
over.
you come back. Actually, since we're waiting for everybody, you want to fill them in?
Still don't know what's down there, but at least there's a storm drain we could use to access below.
Okay, it's probably like concreted in.
Did
or-
any of you notice if there's a sewer system in town?
I
I might just do. I'm just not even.
Perception check.
Unnatural 20.
Nice.
Yeah, there's been drains along all the streets.
Yeah, I mean there seems to be some pretty good drains. They've attended to that pretty well.
Hmm.
Using the river's power to clean now
Yeah,
the
just
sewer
make it a
system.
self-cleaning thing, maybe.
Wait, which
But
way
the
does the
whole
river
thing
run?
didn't light up.
That way.
It comes
Okay, so
from
it's not coming-
Centerton, right?
It's not coming
Well,
to
so
Centerton.
so
Water did
the town of Lamont's Wells itself actually sits on a couple of tributary streams that
Yeah.
flow into the river. So they're not even on this map.
Yeah, all the water comes from Centerton.
Right, no, I was just
Yeah.
making sure they weren't sending their shit to us.
No, other way around.
Good, good.
And there's a couple of lakes between Centerton and here, so most of
Lots of places to settle.
most of you guys would settle to the bottom of those lakes.
Okay.
Well,
So, have you decided if we're going to check it out now or later?
let's at least look at the other places first, because if the other places are more urgent, better
Well, I
do
mean,
that.
there's
before-
one of those that we really need to check out, but I don't want to until we can go in quietly.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Let's go check on either the. Which one's closer, the wharf one or the commercial
district.
one?
Probably the one in the commercial district.
Go check out the
We'll head
commercial
there.
one.
Okay.
Lead on.
All right. So you guys sort of bebop down the.
Bebop?
Yeah, just sort of bebop down the
He's on
street.
down, he's on down the road.
We are in our own musical.
So you guys are going down the street.
Pickers Guild.
This particular street is parallel to the stream, and now that you guys are looking for it, you realize that every 150 200 feet or so there's another storm drain that empties down.
How old does the drainage system look?
Looks fairly old.
Okay.
Interesting.
Is it dwarven in make?
It's got a little bit of dwarven
So
characteristics
they
to
basically
it.
I
built
mean,
on the
dollars
road.
to donuts. If there's something built out of stone around here, a dwarf did it.
Yeah. I mean,
Well, it
we're
looks
still
like they-
definitely within the reach of their empire, but
Well,
I guess
even if
they-
it wasn't like the empire itself. Like if they made something out of stone, they had dwarves in town.
Yeah.
I'm confident a dwarf was the one who made it.
My guess is they just built on the ruins of whatever town was here.
Yeah.
Alright.
All
Where
right.
are the commercial?
So
Find a magic fire hydrant.
So about halfway back towards the center of town, about halfway back to the Church of the Empress.
Because I'm paranoid, while we're heading there, can I see if we've picked up a tail at any point so far?
Okay. Make me an investigation check.
Oh, good. I'm super good at that. 19.
You don't seem to have. I mean, there is quite the town guard presence. I mean,
Yeah.
it's there's a lot of them, and again, there's not every corner has a guard post, but
But enough that a shout could
every
bring one in
2
like
or
a minute.
3
Yeah.
corners has one. So there's a fairly substantial presence of
Like
of
enough
guards.
a quick shout, like a minute.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'd be real quick for them to show up on scene if anything happened. You don't seem to be drawing any particular attention, any particular eyes. Dwarves are not unheard of. They're not common. You don't see a lot of them. There's maybe in the whole day you've been in town, you've maybe seen 3 or 4.
so less than Centerton.
Yeah, less than Centerton for sure. But they're not unheard of. They're just not common.
Mostly human.
Mostly human. A slightly larger percentage of mainly half elves. Full-blooded elves seem to be missing, but half elves
Okay.
are sort of a little bit more prevalent than dwarves, but not by much.
Okay.
You're not seeing a lot of other races besides that. So your friend that you picked up the other day probably
Yeah, that
would have
half-orc.
been remarked quite
Right.
substantially.
Probably a good idea we left.
If we pass a Cooper's shop, then Mal will take a quick break. But
Cooper's shop?
yeah,
for
that
barrels,
Mixed barrels.
Okay.
Um,
Well, we're heading to the commercial district, so if
like
we
Mal
wanna
knows
get some
how to
stuff-
make them, but like
materials.
gonna
doesn't
say-
want to take the
I was
time.
gonna say
Yeah.
we do have the stuff to make them in the
Yeah.
jagged.
evens or odds.
Evens.
You do actually pass one.
Okay. Does anybody? Well, actually, I can come back later, but mark this because I will need to get a barrel or two. I don't want to have to make them. It's a pain in the butt, especially because I want to fire the insides.
Do
But-
you want me to just make them for you?
Are you proficient with Cooper's tools?
I'm proficient with carpenter's tools, which is
Not the same thing.
there is no Cooper's tools.
Is
Not
there
in the
not?
book, no.
No.
Oh, okay.
There's brewing supplies.
Yeah, which-
I guess
Yeah,
that
Yeah,
okay.
like
would-
there's brewing supplies, there's woodworker's tools, and there's carpenter's tools.
Mm,
I am assuming that carpenter's tools seems to be between that and blacksmith tools. I feel like that might
For
be
your rings. But
yeah.
You need some money to chip in on that?
no, I'll be fine.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That would.
It's not a
I
big
mean,
deal. I'll just swing by
it is an
later.
art form for sure. But
I'll just swing by later. Like I could make them,
How
but it just
big
takes
are you
time.
thinking? Like as big as the one we rolled it. So we're gonna
Yeah, I
need
wanna
like several
replace that.
people to.
Yeah.
I'm sure we could rent a cart just to take it out to town or something like that.
I mean,
Or
we
just
could
roll
always
it.
just
It's
bring the shaggin in and load it up and take it out. But
How big are these streets?
so you're on one of the major
Right.
thoroughfares, and it would be tight for the shaggin, but it would be doable.
the shaggin's actually, other than being really tall, is pretty normal sized for a wagon. Actually, that's when I was building
Yeah.
it. I looked up the
But
dimensions of like a
Not
standard covered
conspicuous,
wagon.
but it's not inconspicuous.
No, it's,
Yeah,
it's very.
it would be
different
very
and strange, but it
conspicuous.
should
Yeah.
fit in any town that can take covered wagons. I should be able to fit.
Yeah, we can stop by here.
I mean, in theory, I could just set it up, ask them to have it ready when we're ready to leave, and as we pass through town, I can
Yeah,
pick it up.
Yeah,
Anyway,
because we're gonna do the same thing with the map, so I feel like that's a good trade-off.
Okay.
Just get a couple.
Are you guys okay if I pop in there real fast?
yeah, go for it.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, you can.
So he'll just come in. He'll haggle a little bit for a
Okay.
good price on a couple of. He'll actually do 2 large barrels
Okay.
that he'll fire. He tells them, "Don't worry about firing them. He'll fire it on its own
Okay.
because he's looking for specific tastes."
Okay. I'm not sure if that's something that shows up in the PHB.
I mean, the
What-
PHP.
Barrel does.
Barrel
but-
does.
That's true.
But
I
you could
think
probably attach, let's say, an extra gold for work cost.
Not even an extra gold.
Yeah, not even an extra gold.
Well, I mean, an extra gold for both barrels, so
Your-
like 6 silver
your-
pieces per.
your
Gallons do you want this barrel to be?
Well, if you look, if someone has a
So a
player's
regular
handbook-
barrel is 40 gallons.
Yeah.
Do you have a player's
Oh,
handbook
I've got
over
one.
there?
It's right here. I'm sorry.
40 gallons.
I
Okay,
kinda
so just
forgot.
regular barrels.
Yeah.
I don't have to
Yeah.
open it all.
A barrel.
It costs 2 gold pieces
Do
for a barrel.
we want to just set up, Keith, like a standard markup percentage in?
And a barrel is
Um,
40 gallons, by the way.
yeah, for here the markup is because you are
You were pretty.
it is a trade town.
Probably do for like 5 gold. 2
So
barrels.
that would. It is a trade town, but it's in the sort of the wilds, not quite to the wilderness. It's
frontier
like
town.
it's a frontier trade town. So those things, like the trading town, would offer a discount because trade. But the frontier town, so it sort of offsets. So everything's kind of baseline.
Okay,
I
so
would
just the
say.
basic.
Yeah. So trade goods would be baseline. Luxury goods are going to be something else entirely.
So a barrel is 40 gallons.
Yeah, so 4 gold.
So 4 gold on this extra for other
No.
costs.
No.
So 4 gold.
that cost incorporates the work.
Okay. So yeah, it's 4 gold for 2 barrels. I should probably check to see if there's anything we should probably grab. I don't think
Thank
there
you.
is.
And I'll just tell them, like, we'll pick it up 5 or 6 days.
Okay, we can have those done for you tomorrow afternoon.
Okay, we may or may not be in town, so end of the week would be better if we can manage that. We'll
Got a
come
little
through
bit
with a
of
cart.
little bit of trading you're off to then.
Trading and then a little bit of exploration as well.
All right.
I work with a trade caravan of sorts, and I'm going to be looking for some really specific ingredients out in the area here because that's sort of my shtick is unique brews. So
Okay. There are a couple
That's
of barley farms
Ooh.
up to the north. If I can give you a couple of names.
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind, I would appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. And there's also there's a winery up to the northeast. It's sort of on the slopes, and they specialize in winter grapes. It's a little bit more tart than what you might find further west.
Interesting.
Thank you.
They've also got these things. What do they call them? Strawberries.
Oh yeah. They're very similar to. There was one I found. I passed through Sederton a while back. That we found that was called a goldberry. It was really
Hadn't heard of
similar.
that one.
Not goldberry. Dang it! I forgot what I made last time. Anyway, I'll look it up in a minute.
Well-
Similar to a strawberry.
Okay. Well, and then if you go down south of the river, there's a couple of orchards that do like stone fruits.
Ooh. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Just tell them Max sent you.
Will do.
Hi, Chipper. No, we're breaking into other things.
Should I get a new weapon? In case.
Before you buy one, let me know, because we do actually have some extra weapons in the shack already.
What do we got? Just let me know.
We've got my enhanced crossbow, a Castian's cane sword, a light crossbow, a poisoned short sword, and a dagger, and some arrows and bolts.
Okay. I'll just maybe grab one of the crossbows when we get back, because I might need to be carrying around something other than a shield, maybe a mace or something, just to look as not as inconspicuous. So
I feel that. I was in a car for 9 hours yesterday.
where did you go, by the way?
We
Yellowstone.
went to Yellowstone,
Oh.
and then yesterday my mother and I went through Yellowstone because we didn't get to see all of it, and then drove back through the Grand Tetons.
Ooh.
So it was a cool drive. It's a long drive.
Yeah.
I'll pass this over. What's the knot on the back of my shoulders? Like, yes.
What's the knot is
Yes. I'm
no,
not
I
injured
won't.
or anything. It's just tight.
I feel that.
There's also the little neck thing over here if you want to use it.
This thing hurts.
You hurt.
I know.
Also, you can.
Do we need to get
control the
more,
pressure.
Didn't say anything.
I know.
Do we need to get some more food supplies?
No, we should be fine.
Okay.
If we're gonna get them, we'll grab them on our way out of town.
Do we want to get a chicken?
How much does Tommy eat?
Egg.
What?
We want to.
That was
For
a
eggs.
Do
question
we
I didn't
want to get a
anticipate.
chicken?
Oh, like to keep? Like
Yeah.
a pet chicken?
I don't know,
I
for
mean,
like
if
eggs.
chicken-
If
For eggs.
you're gonna take care of the chicken,
Milo does not know how to take care of a chicken.
To be
I think
fair,
it'd be a good learning experience.
I'm better at
Mm.
talking
Have you ever had a
than I
pet?
am to people, so.
Not one that you would have taken care of.
yeah, no, we
Would
wouldn't
I
have done
have-
any of the actual work.
Would I have ever had a pet?
Not that you took care of.
Not that I
no.
took care of.
His mother gave him a pet rock.
Here you go.
He technically
Hunting
had
dog,
like a pet
favorite hunting
lion
dog?
with
I
a
never went
diamond-studded
hunting.
collar, but
That doesn't mean you wouldn't
he
have
had
a hunting dog as
handlers
a
for that.
normal.
Couldn't make.
I know it's a
Horse.
sad thing to say, but I feel like there would have been a time where some like trade that's damn you that like some trade merchant lord or something like that would have given like an albino fox or something, but it just like died.
And now I can't see,
Yep.
and now I can't
Yep.
hear anything but the version of
Some
that from TikTok.
But
Yep. That's exactly what happened.
Do we want to? Oh, do you need to get any special material, for, like something that we can use to fight off those?
Adamantine.
Well, I mean, we can't get that,
I
but I'm
don't know
sure.
yet.
Okay.
I don't know what I'll need for that yet.
Maybe I'll get a silvered weapon. I don't have enough money for that.
silver bow?
Silvered weapons.
Silvered
yeah.
weapon. It helps with like
Magic resistance.
magic resistance to things that have resistance to magic weapons.
Okay, so now that that little side trip is done,
Now that keeps giving you several things to follow up on.
Yep.
you guys continue along the street, and very soon you do approach the
Corner.
the corner, and it is
It's a magic fire hydrant.
Bakery.
Do I need to send you a link?
so it's a jewelry shop.
Now, was the magic, was it on the street or in a building?
It was in a building.
Okay.
So the shop looks like it's it looks like it used to be a tower, a very dwarven designed tower, sort of understated wealth.
Mm-hmm.
Very very clean, very meticulously maintained, very well taken care of, but not so ostentatious that certain ne'er-do-wells would pay it much attention.
Right.
But you know, the sign is very sort of understated and very subtle, but it's got the name of the proprietor, and jewelry
What's
listed.
the name of the proprietor?
You would ask me that.
I mean, you
Jeweler number one.
Yeah.
You say it has a name.
Yeah.
So I assume we would ask.
What was the name for any random Carlisle?
Yep.
Carlisle's jewelry.
That was kind of
The Carlisles are all over the
Just in case
Roll
we
me
get
a
caught in the
D100.
cloister.
a D100.
There's-
Ooh.
There's history. There's a Carlisle somewhere on the record.
Mm-hmm.
44.
There's also
Okay.
a Stella.
That's true.
Yeah,
Stella
wow.
Virgin.
Stella Atwell.
Can't take
Because
anywhere.
Alma was 12.
Because Steven
was 12.
was 12.
Steven made the character. There's a reason.
It's going to be stuck in your head all day, huh?
Nissa Leffery.
So do we need to buy some jewelry?
I at least want to go take a look.
Absolutely.
I distracted myself. This is where the magic is coming from.
It's coming from inside that. The thing where
This is Danny.
yeah, the magic
Throw a
is
cane at you.
the magic is coming from inside this jewelry shop.
So, did you have a ring?
I do have a ring. I have a signet ring.
No. A ring.
Oh, yes.
Oh, you already have one then. Okay.
He bought me one.
Let's see.
It was just subtle. So.
Then
We don't actually have to buy something. We can just
no,
browse.
but
We're
if somebody
tourists.
is
That's just
specifically looking, then they want to sell, and they will be distracted. I am looking to buy a ring then. All right.
Whoa.
You are.
Try not to blow too much money on a ring we don't actually need.
Maybe he'll get married someday.
Maybe.
Then there will be a queen of nothing.
I can offer you nothing.
A lot
And
of
this ring.
nothing.
A lot of nothing.
That's pretty
A
impressive.
lot
nothing.
a lot of wet underground ruins. Nothing.
How many stories does it look like this tower is?
So it's just one.
Me.
Okay.
What made you king with nothing?
All right, we'll go in.
Now that song's gonna be stuck in my head.
I can take. Never mind.
By all means.
No. You.
All right, I'm walking into
interject.
the store.
I
Okay.
purposely asked you first.
Okay. I will.
That was why. I
Just
was like,
looks
you
like
need
a-
a ring? And technically I do have a +2 charisma.
That's nice.
I know. It's nothing on a +5, but
I clearly should be the
so-
one talking.
So you walk in the door. There's a little ding ding,
Of course.
and right in front of the door, there's sort of an abstract sculpture, like sitting right there, that you have to walk around
Great.
to get into the rest of the shop. From certain angles, it almost resembles a padlock.
More B&E. More B&E.
How old is it? Look.
It actually looks fairly recent.
Okay.
We walk around the art exhibit.
So as you go around it, there are 2 cases on either side leading back into the back of the room. It's very well lit, nice candle chandeliers that could be lowered down for maintenance at the end of the day. At the far end, there is there's a she's a little on the short side, but there's a woman proprietor standing there. You assume that it is Nissa, and she's sort of she pulls her little glass from her eye. She's been sort of pondering looks like an emerald, sort of a low quality emerald, but an emerald, and she puts it back in the case and looks up. Can I help you?
Yes, hello. We are a couple of craftsmen from Iron Lotus Innovations. We were...
You have a strange definition of couple, don't you?
Some of
Well-
them are security.
Ah, I see.
Yes,
Thanks, Siri.
What? I didn't see it. What? Oh, that was adorable. Yes, we were looking around some of the trade shops around here, and your place caught an interest to some of us, so we wanted to come take a look.
Oh, well, is there anything in particular that I can help you find today?
Well,
I'm gonna let Milo do some talking. I'm gonna scan the cases while he's talking just to see if there's anything that seems out of the ordinary.
I mean,
do I know if you're proficient in jeweler's tools?
No.
Okay.
I am.
Okay.
so
would I know that?
I don't know.
I feel like we've
I don't know if it's
talked
coming
about
up.
So you are seeing mostly set pieces. So it's rings and bracelets and a few tiaras. Most of them do have some gems set into them to give them sparkle and things like this. It's a standard jewelry store, is what you're seeing.
Based on where I saw the location of the magic on my map, would I deduct that the magic is like in a back room, or do I think it might be?
It doesn't look like there's much of a back room to this store.
It's probably one of the pieces in the case.
Okay.
Yes. As we were traveling craftsmen. We were hoping to work on getting some jewelry made. So we came here to look at some great craftsmanship, and I've seen quite a bit of it so far.
Do you have anything particular in mind?
Well, I actually did have a quick question on that note. Do you do custom work?
Oh, of course.
So 2 pieces of sort of custom that we'd be looking for. One, we had a request for, it's essentially a crown as a set piece. Dwarven in nature. Now, that being said, if you don't have anything that's easily changed to fit the aesthetic, that is just fine. The other thing that I would like to personally ask about would be something to set as a seal. For a new business venture.
Ah, okay.
Absolutely.
For the crown, are you wanting that to be like costume jewelry then?
No, actually, because it will be put on display afterwards.
We have a very eccentric dwarven merchant who wants a central piece in his office as sort of a testament of his merchant prowess that he was able to get a crown or something like that.
Oddfellow.
Yes.
I sounds like it. Not. I mean,
If you don't have anything that's easily repurposed that way, it's not a problem.
It's more
Yeah,
of a
don't-
consultation of someone.
don't really have much in the way of that. Seeing as the Empress, may she live forever,
course.
doesn't have much use for a new crown.
That's fair.
The one
Right.
she's got, it's been around for a while and doesn't appear to be going anywhere anytime soon.
Right.
So
Not for a few thousand years at least, yeah. Anyway, no, thank you. And as far as some bit of a seal,
do you have a design in mind? We could certainly do you up something like that.
Start drawing.
somebody had one actually
Oh, for Iron Lotus Innovations? Or
Well,
Augur's Fall?
for Augur's
I don't think we did one for Augur's. I
Augur's
know there's
Ale.
like a
Augur's Ale.
Augur's Ale. I don't think we did one for Augur's Ale. Give me a minute. I'll make one.
By the way, Keith, Cabbage is actually doing this.
Where did Cabbage get dice?
She gets
just
distracted
found things.
easily.
But
How's
she's
that?
part
Augur's
of your
Ale.
she's part
Sure.
of your security, you say.
She's not security. She helps entertain customers.
More
Nice
of
to
our,
meet you.
I promised her mother I'd take her.
I see.
Augur's Ale. So just like a double offset A.
Okay, double
Um,
offsetting.
screw
Yeah.
Preferably fully in
Anyway,
metal,
sticky.
because I would like to be able to heat it up and
Oh,
brand
yeah.
into
Oh,
barrels.
so you're looking for a business like wax sealer.
Both
wax
actually.
press,
Yeah, one for wax and
that-
one
that's-
specifically that could be used as a brand of sorts.
That's
You want
easy
one
enough to
for
do.
Iron Lotus Innovations?
I
That
already have one.
Oh, okay.
that wouldn't take much to do at all.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
What kind of time
What,
frame would we be looking at?
Don't have many custom orders at the moment. We could probably have that done for you into the week.
Perfect. Thank you. How much? I'd like to pay in advance if that's all right.
Oh, that'll be. I assume you've already got the business license registered with the town, aye?
Well, not here yet.
Well, I'm afraid you'll have to do that before I can make you the seal.
Okay. We can send paperwork through then.
Okay. Once I've got that, shouldn't take more than 3-4 days. And since you're dealing with be a gold and a half for the seal.
All right. Well,
Keep that in mind, and we will go do.
I'm casting detect magic.
Okay. Are you doing it so subtly?
Yes.
And we are distracting her.
And
so-
Well-
while they're talking, I'm just looking like I'm browsing.
Okay.
Apparently, so is
Putting
Cabbage.
her wares on my head.
Because of the distraction, she had disadvantage. Take a look at the dice.
What are we looking at?
It's either going to be good or bad. Oh, good. Oh, it's so good.
What was it?
It was a 20 and a 2.
Those are my favorite two numbers. The 20 and the 2.
Stack and jewelry.
We've
All
given
right.
her some
So
blocks to
you are
play
able
with.
to actually cast.
We need
And
to.
about halfway down on as you're coming in, halfway down on the left hand side, in the case there is sort of this very finely cut gem, and it's really it's really bizarre because structurally and chemically it
Oh, I like
looks
that.
it looks like it should be a diamond, but there's color in it. It's like strands of red that are moving around inside this
Okay.
gem.
Oh, excuse me, miss.
You don't see that.
No?
This is
No,
No,
I
it's-
cast
dang it.
I cast detect magic to find it. What kind of magic is it giving off, Keith? The
It
worst
is-
part for Keith about this spell.
It is giving off necromancy and transmutation.
Ooh.
How big of a gem are we talking?
It's not very big. I mean, it's
Like
probably
the radius of a baseball?
No, not quite. So it's maybe about so it's
General.
sort of pear. It's sort of a pear cut, and along the long axis, it's probably 2.5 to 3 inches, and the short axis is about inch and a half.
Can I see?
Sapphire, maybe?
Mr.
Necromancy and
Transmutation.
Transmutation.
Mr. Shepard, find anything that you
Yeah, actually, this is quite a unique gem here. I don't think I've ever seen one like it before.
Oh yeah, that came down the river from up north. It's I'll be honest with you, I've not seen much like it. It tells me it's pretty rare, as they say. Hasn't been a lot of interest in that one.
I don't suppose you'd be able to tell me who you bought it off of.
Oh, honestly, it's just some random bloke passing through.
That's actually a very
Castian.
pretty piece.
Cassie.
Yeah. Just unloading something.
How much would it be for you to part with such a rare piece?
Oh, well, I gotta say, since it is rare, I'm not gonna be able to let it go for less than 500 gold, I'm afraid.
Do you mind if I take a quick look at it? And he'll pull out some of his jeweler's tools. I'm in the trade myself.
Of course. And she'll sort of come down to it, unlock the case from the back, and pull it out and set it up.
And so he'll
in front
start
of you.
doing some measurements, and he'll look at it through an eyeglass.
I am
Mhm.
down for us to heist this thing at some point.
They are just so determined to make this a B&E campaign.
We're overthrowing a government.
That's different.
Gotta fund our rebellion somehow.
And as far as that's concerned, we can communicate back and forth our plan.
So it looks like a diamond.
It looks like a diamond, but it has like moving, like blood red striations through it.
Okay. So how is the cut as far as
It's as flawless a cut as you've ever seen.
This is better than my work for sure. So he'll hand it back. So you said you don't have many custom orders. Do you have some?
No, I've got a few.
Could I trade labor for some cut to the cost for this?
What sort of what sort of labor are you looking to provide there?
Excuse me.
I was talking to Simmy. You don't interrupt me. Private conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done some gem cutting work myself, as well as I'm particularly good at settings. Although my main business is alcohol.
It's quite a wide variety of interests you've got there.
Well,
I lived in
in such a world as this, it's good to be multi.
It does as well to have a wide variety of skills, so whatever the market is favoring where we travel, we have a chance to take advantage of it.
I lived in a mountain home. There wasn't much to do.
Ah,
You get good at lots of things when you live mostly by yourself.
I can understand that, I believe.
But would that be a possibility? I could help with any of your custom orders.
Okay. It's like, what is in your
I
trying to tell
suppose it
me?
would.
Kill them all.
Suppose it
Kill
would
your parents.
depend upon the quality of your work.
It's not going to matter how much you knock it down. We don't have that much.
Yeah, certainly.
Killing you would have to have grass cutters.
We have
would you?
a couple more errands to run today, but I'll come back by in a few hours and I can show you.
All right, I'll be here. And she takes the gem and puts it back in the case and locks it up.
Ignore the whatever that is.
Tomfoolery.
You know, you guys, just because your characters are bored does not mean that you as players need to entertain yourselves.
Oh, this is actually what Cabbage and Simmy are doing in the shop.
Well, in that case, when we...
Our
so
method
I'm going to walk
acts.
out, and when I walk out, I'm going to look at these two.
Excuse me.
Would you like to go back to camp?
No.
You want to go find somewhere to sit?
Why?
Because it's kind of hard to be taken seriously by business people when you two are acting like absolute buffoons.
They weren't taking you seriously anyway. The three of you were talking over each
And
other.
where did you find-
And your story sounded sketchy as hell.
That's
And where did you
true.
guys find puppets?
Some puppet's bag. But I can make it a puppet. I was actually using it as boxing glove.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
We-
but
5
we didn't
minutes.
ruin any
5
credibility.
minutes. We
Is
weren't
thi-
in the
is
town
thi- is
for
this how
5
you
minutes.
acted when Greybeard hired you on his ship? Did you act this way around him?
I'm sorry, you're not paying me anything.
I'm giving you food and a place to sleep.
I can find my own food and I can sleep in the stars.
Fine. Feel
Fine.
free to.
I will.
It looks like it's gonna rain tonight.
I'm apparently giving you life when you die.
What does that mean? What weird threat was that? I'm gonna give you life when you die.
You realize
It
if we're
was-
trying to fly under the
Roll me a
radar,
d20.
Sure.
like acting like that, and they're not gonna forget about us, right?
9.
They're already probably not gonna forget that like the three things that were just told to them were all like really
Not rain,
weird.
no.
Just
But it looks like there might be a freak snowstorm on the way.
the
In
reasons
summer?
that you have skills and
I
all
said
of
a
that,
freak
like,
snowstorm.
none of them really
Okay.
matched. It was weird and awkward, and yeah, kind of what she said.
Get some chili ingredients.
Anyway,
To
we'll
the
come
wharf?
back for that later.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, and now you're gonna steal from her anyway, so who cares about credibility?
I don't like that.
We're not going to.
Tell you.
To the wharf?
No, I'll explain later. To the wharf.
To the wharf.
Oh, we're in an old Batman movie.
Nah, it's okay.
It
We're
helps
used to
move.
Poser,
It helps
it's fine.
move the plot along.
It's fine. It's fine.
Okay, so you start down towards the wharf.
Yep.
You're starting to see
Oh yeah.
familiar faces, and familiar faces are starting to see. Hey, cabbage!
Hey, bread!
Bread?
Bread.
As a nickname.
I didn't see Greybeard's ship here. What you doing down this
Oh,
pot?
I'm on my own thing.
Oh, all right. Game of cards later.
Oh, we'll see. I mean, can you afford to lose that much money again?
No, you owe me money from last time, sweetie.
Do not.
You did. Oh, well. Oh, wait. No, I was drunk. Maybe you don't. All right. Give me a chance to get back even then.
How far is the river?
It's like right. It's
Okay,
right
if I need
there.
to make an escape. If we need
Is
to
it
make an
Milo
escape, remember,
Splash?
everyone can breathe underwater. So
And so I mean it. You see familiar sailors along the shoreline. Some of the city guards are a little
how
bit
did we
more
forget?
Some of the city guards are a little bit more familiar down here. That tavern's actually really nice. They've got good lamb stew, so that's a good spot for later. You know, things like that. So you're sort of following your map and ignoring the hullabaloo
Yep.
that's following Cabbage as she goes, and
Splitting the distance to make sure I've got an eye on him and an eye on her.
and you find yourself in the warehouse district. Cabbage,
Yeah.
darling,
Uh-huh.
dear, make me a perception check.
Yes, sir.
This is where it all goes south.
Ah, shit.
I didn't
I'm
need
gonna
to.
use that inspiration.
Good.
That's better. 16. 25.
25. Okay.
Nice.
Gosh, am I gonna get a note?
much scary. Why did I become Cabbage too?
Because you were playing D today.
I was indeed. Or I guess late last night. Well, no. I said something today as D.
D and M.
I made a strategic alignment error.
What do you think? I'm gonna peek over your shoulder?
Yes.
Am I familiar with that?
So you've been here enough. You've heard the name, yes, and you know that they are. It sort of depends on who you talk to. For the lower classes, this group of people has sort of almost a Robin Hood kind of
Reputation.
yes, reputation. It's like they help out the neighborhood a lot. They protect it from other people encroaching and trying to take advantage. They do expect a little bit of return for their protection, as you would expect. But overall, the story is that if you don't cross them, they're okay. But then there are the whispers that these guys are ruthless killers if you cross them. So watch your step.
So everybody,
Mm-hmm.
there is a group around here, lay low.
What are they called?
They're called the Kind Men's. They're
The what?
the Kind Men's. They're, you know that story called, like Robin Hood, one I've told before.
Robin Hood.
Yeah, whatever. But the guy who like steals from the rich, gives to the poor, that
Right.
kind of thing. They sort of have that kind of a reputation, with a side of ruthless killing.
You felt the need to tell us this because
Because somebody just told me that we're in their area. Their
Well,
territory.
it's actually it was actually
Thieves' camp.
a thieves'
Oh,
camp
okay.
like mark
'Cause it says
on the
so.
wall.
That-
so, like, are we trespassing in there?
No, we're fine. We just keep a low profile. Don't piss anyone off.
I'm gonna secure my.
Cabbage, I think that
I'm gonna
might be
put, like,
more
my coin
directed at us
purse
at
into
this
a,
particular moment.
Yeah.
Keith, I'm gonna put my coin purse somewhere
Well,
where
it's
it is harder to
Oh,
get
no.
to,
Okay.
like
Oh,
in
that's
my
fair.
like
Sure.
You're
These are
on
my
to
breastplate,
that.
like
Okay.
breastplate, just harder to get to.
I'm just bringing
Just have
my
Angier like
people
hold on
in
to
with
it in my
people.
breastplate.
So I just won't talk ever in case.
Are these the kind of people
It's
you
the
wanted to show
wrong
respect
person.
to?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
lots of respect. Lots of good respect.
Good to know if I have to try and talk us out of a situation.
And about this moment, you come around, following Killian. You sort of come around this corner, and the warehouse you're looking for is right in front of you, and you notice them straight away because you know what to look for. But they're doing their best to blend in as the indigent or beggars or street people, or even one of them's got sort of like a little stand in the street selling like really sort of almost questionable produce. Those are guards guarding that warehouse.
Hey Killian, we're
Yeah.
not headed to that warehouse, are we?
I mean, we probably can't go in because it's a warehouse, but that would be the warehouse where the thing is. Why?
Because all those people standing out front inconspicuously, they're guards. I would imagine they're the Kind Men's.
Can we send an invisible in here?
Can we arrange a meeting?
Ooh.
I could try, but
Why would
What
we
would I
would have to
know-
convince them to get into the warehouse?
So Keith, like I know that generally magic is a no-no,
Mhm.
but
If you're already criminal underground.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is it commonly used among criminals?
Or is
traded
it
among
less
criminals.
of a taboo?
I mean, when you steal something, you get a finger cut off. When you do magic, you
Get your head cut off.
Depends what you steal.
That's true.
So there are no stories about, or from your time here, there are no stories explicitly saying that the kind men use magic. But there's some pretty weird stories about what they can do. Or what they have done.
Killian,
Okay.
have you invented a saw with a silencer?
Do you know a bar or tavern around here where we could talk without being too worried about people overhearing us or talking about what we're
I
saying?
assume I would know.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, there's the one place that has really good lamb stew.
Great, let's go there.
Mistress Harful.
It's the filthy cobbler.
Of course it
The
does.
filthy cobbler.
Is this something you guys want me for? Or is this something that I could go do some work to pay off?
Well, I
on?
want you there just for so I
Jim.
can lay out what I'm thinking.
Okay.
But then after that we can.
We can part ways because
And
you
go-
need to go get paperwork done.
Well,
And if we get-
I'm not gonna do that first.
Okay.
There's not really a point in me getting a business license for a town that I don't expect to come back to.
Okay. I'm sure you can make us. We can make us.
Oh yeah, that's not actually
So-
a big deal. That was a pretense.
So when we get to the,
Mhm.
I assume it's easy to find like a little.
Yeah, so as you come in, a couple of things that you notice right away. The exterior is exactly what you would expect from a place called the Filthy Cobbler. It is right on the wharf side, so it is like definitely that weather-beaten sort of almost run-down exterior. But then when you go inside, it is absolutely high quality. Not opulent,
Okay.
but high quality. They take care of it. It's clean. It's nice.
That was unexpected.
For the filthy cobbler.
This place great.
Instead of like normal tables and chairs and like what you would expect, it's all like low tables with cushions.
Okay.
Hookahs.
Yeah, it's sort of got that hookah bar vibe, but it's not a hookah bar. The proprietress meets you right at the door, welcomes you in, finds you a table. Hi, cabbage.
Hi! Brought some friends, told them about your lamb stew.
Ah, okay. So we need 5 servings in.
Please.
Got it. And she takes you to a spot and sits you down. All of the rest of the staff has the same sort of vibe. They're very confident, very not provocative, but it's like borderline sexy to provocative. Definitely sort of showing off
Belly
what they
dancer
can.
sort of.
Yeah,
The
that
Mexican
kind of.
restaurant I went to in Russia.
Oh dear.
I bet that was an experience.
Everybody make me a perception check real quick.
Oh, this will be good.
8.
No.
Dirty.
Yes.
5.
No.
You said perception?
Yes.
13.
No.
16.
Yes. So, the two of you, ironically enough, notice sort of along the back wall, tucked away, out of the way, there's a plaque on the wall. Sort of glancing at it, trying not to be obvious about looking at it, you kind of read down through it, and it sort of, it doesn't come right out and say it, but it sort of intimates that this is the establishment has been blessed by one of the old gods.
Which one?
It does not say
Well,
which.
we'll see.
Okay.
That's why they keep it out of the way, though.
Yep. So it's about like noonish.
So it's about noonish. The food comes out. If you need anything, do let me know.
Thanks.
See ya. And hurries off.
It really is actually excellent lamb stew here.
Okay. So, as we've been walking, I have been considering the best ways to steal that diamond and replace it.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Why are we...
Before you start shaking your head,
It's,
that lady is in a lot of danger.
Yeah, I don't think she knows what it is. It is magical.
What is it?
The magic in it
I
has
assume it's,
to do with
you know, my,
necromancy and transmutation. That's all I could tell.
You know
from
my
it.
little crystal thing that I have on that medallion? Something similar to that,
Oh,
I don't know what
but
it is.
not the same thing. It's one of those things where if they find her, she's gonna...
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I'd like to craft a almost, if not impossible to tell the difference replica and swap them.
But didn't you say it's got red bits moving in it?
Yep.
But it's Killian. Killian could probably find something.
And I think I can do it non-magically.
I don't know if you're gonna get that buyer. That thing was as perfect a cut as I have ever seen.
I mean, I'd rather not just outright steal it from her, but
I would like to talk to her
and try and explain to her what it is.
and let her know that she's in a lot of danger.
I could, since I've got my robes.
I was gonna
can-
So-
gonna basically use that as leverage.
Could we manufacture like a really old-looking page of something that dictates a evil gem?
Oh, I was just gonna say that we had somebody who was former Apellian Order with us that recognized
Are
it.
we sure
Or
we want to
just-
out ourselves like that? And are we sure we trust her?
If we just say
So-
it's someone former, I mean, I don't know that we trust her.
Don't say
necessarily,
former.
no.
We could just say that she is.
Yeah.
So, and also, we could just do this the last day we're here.
Yeah.
Like,
If
we don't have
want
to deal with this
if
now.
we want to smash and grab.
No, but I mean, I'd prefer to switch it out without her noticing. I'm also not too worried about her, even if it's not a perfect copy, because as far as I can tell, nobody really looks at that piece. I don't know how often she would take it out to examine it. As long as it looks good at first, we'll be long gone before she realizes.
I mean,
it's been
or we
swapped.
could.
I
We
dislike
could
stealing
legitimate.
it.
We could.
I do
lis-
too, but I don't know. I'm afraid that if we tell her, well, one, I'm afraid how we explain how we know what it is without outing ourselves.
I mean,
It was my job. I didn't get very far in it.
How
think
many
you could-
people do you know that have been able to just walk away from that line of work?
Zim is the
I
only
don't
one that I've
have
ever
to say
known
that I
of.
walked away from that line of work.
Then why aren't we just arresting her? Why are we giving her the chance to part with the magic item?
Because I am
Because-
giving her the chance to part with
Well,
the magic item before.
There's,
Is there any
there's
way?
that, but
But
also
if you're going to use her as an excuse for how you know, why hasn't she just come in and
Because she
taken it?
might.
also there's the option of saying like, okay, so the
The Order Mother and.
well, the queen
I've heard the
doesn't
rumors.
necessarily like, okay, so practicing does not necessarily okay, practicing magic, right, but if you just happen to end up with an item and you don't know, that's a different thing. I can go and recover it, and
Does the Empire treat that differently? My experience with the Empire would lead me to believe that if you're in possession of a magic item,
Your
you're,
life is
you're,
forfeit.
you're a suspect unless you're rich and powerful.
if you're in possession of a magic item, if you are trading one, that might be a little bit more debatable, and you're dealing with a person who doesn't know the answer to that question, but who is living in an empire that wants to be seen as on the up and up, even though it's super crooked.
Empire
So-
encyclopedia.
Uh-huh.
What is the protocol for someone who
If you're a merchant that's just gonna
has
trade
a
in
magic item, but may not know that it's a magic item?
So that's actually one of those areas that you don't know the answer because it is.
Well, I'm sure like Simi would.
Well, it's one of those things that
It's case by case, or is it?
It's not
So
something you
from
learned.
your end, from your
Right.
experience, Mom basically said no magic items,
Right.
and then empowered the Apellian Order to deal with it. No magic items, no magic users.
Right.
And worship me. So, and they're given fairly free reign to figure that out.
So it's on a-
so as from your perspective, you don't know.
Right.
As someone who's been in the order, you do know that there are mitigating factors. They are primarily who you know and how much you can use to pay them off. Occasionally, very occasionally, there would be cases where someone might stumble onto something and not know what they had. That when confronted with that, they gave it up. Just like, oh, I don't want that, don't want any part of it. That tended to result in more leniency for them.
More of like a fine at that point.
Yeah, more of a fine, things like that.
Items change hands.
You do have an intimate remembrance, however, that people are occasionally falsely accused and executed.
Yeah.
So I'm not thrilled about the idea of stealing it from her, but also 500 gold, even unless you can work that down to about a 10 gold price, is outside my budget.
I mean,
That
I've
is
only got
That is
Fine.
outside my budget.
I've only
But
got
with-
half of 100.
If
to
we
throw in.
say, hey, we have someone from the Appellian Order, they might come recover it, do you want to just give it to us to get rid of it? Little concerned for a couple reasons. One,
She might report it to
yeah, what if she
someone.
reports it to the cloister here?
Just be like,
'Cause
hey,
they don't
whatever.
know who we are, they
happened.
don't know that we're here. Then they start looking into us. Two,
If we wait till the last day, that's not as big a deal.
well, so I'll get to that.
Except then we're on the road. Yeah.
Yeah, two,
And we don't exactly travel too fast.
if she responds aggressively to it or doesn't want to take our word for it or whatever, it makes it harder to take it off her hands later. And if we do this on the last day, that does not give us a whole lot of time to get in there and swap them. And she'll be more likely to be checking if anything has happened and up her security because she knows somebody's interested in this and it might be valuable.
Yeah.
That's why I'm inclined to like
Steal it and replace it with a
risk
fake.
to say something. Now, if we can replace it with a fake, anyone who's gonna, as far as I know, anyone who's, she doesn't seem to be a peddler of these items, so anyone who comes to buy it from her is either going to be like us and would have noticed it was magic on their own, or is just interested in gems. So as long as it looks the part,
And I understand you don't want like to make this woman have a bad time, but I feel like she would rather trade the loss of 500 gold than her life.
and for her,
I agree.
for her
she
it's
probably
not,
would.
For her, it's not inherently a loss. She could wind up selling our replica later. Like as far as we can tell, she doesn't know what it is. She's not upping the price because it's magical.
Yeah, like she's displaying it. If it's
Yeah.
if she knew it was magical, she wouldn't just have it out.
Right, or
Right.
she would do something to shield it. So that is also why I don't like the idea of we're just stealing from people. I can't afford to buy it off her. It's real risky to try and convince her to give it to us. I doubt we can haggle the price down to something that is reasonable for us to do, and I doubt we can make enough money to buy it before we leave town.
Because I
I
don't
feel
think
like that
I don't
leaves us
think
with swapping
combined
it.
I don't think combined we even have 500 gold.
No. And even if we did, like, unless we can earn enough money while we're here, that's everything, all the cash we
How
have.
fast do you think you could make a replica? Because I mean,
I don't know.
I will.
Ingir can transfer memories
Yeah.
of the
I
picture
will
of it.
try to feel her out, and I will work for her temporarily.
I think that's a good idea, but that's what I'm thinking is we need to swap it out. It could help us in the long run. It gets it out of her hands so she doesn't get in trouble.
That's what I'm most concerned about is her ending up
Yeah.
on the chopping
Yeah.
block.
I just
because
don't
she
like
has
that
it.
you're trading bad for bad, because realistically, like one way she's pretty much totally out of the woods, but realistically, like as far as trying to mitigate trouble for ourselves, we can either be wanted potentially for theft, or we can be wanted for
even if she notices that it's gone, how will she know that it's us?
Because we're the only ones who
because
expressed
she
interest
might
in it.
catch us.
I mean, I can
'Cause you
always
seem to
I
really-
can always disguise myself as a shadier looking character and case the joint, but
Also,
make it look
I-
like someone else
I am-
stole it, like some.
when I was in there
Person like that.
while we were there, it didn't look like. I mean, it looked like regular jewelry store security, right? As far as I could tell.
As far as you could tell, yeah.
Her store's out of the way. It's not ostentatious. So I doubt that she is frequently concerned with people stealing. I am confident that I can get past any locks she has on anything.
And
I can turn myself invisible. Again, it'd be great if we could just walk in and she just let us have it. But that seems like a really big risk. And then, if we swap them out, she doesn't have to be involved with this at all. No one ever has to know there was a magic item there.
Yeah.
If we tell her it's a magic item, even if she gives it to us, now she knows it was there. And if the Apellian Order comes looking and somebody grabs her,
She's gonna squeal.
they could put her in a position where she could squeal. From where I'm sitting, it looks like the best way across the board is to just swap it without anyone noticing, if we can pull that off.
And we have enough stuff that we can make that happen.
Now, I'm pretty confident we can. Also, depending on if we can get a meeting with these kind men, maybe we outsource this job to professionals if we can come to some sort of arrangement.
Speaking of, shall we go to part 2 on the kind men?
Well, hang on, before we go there, because I think
I'm not
Cindy-
outsourcing something to people that I have never met before if it deals with another human's life.
Yeah, I kind of
It
agree
Person's
with
doesn't
life.
deal with her life.
It might. You don't know if she's going to be in there, like, doing something after hours when you go, like...
If the kind men are known for being Robin Hood people, I doubt
Except
they're going...
when they're not?
Except when you cross them.
How do you know
That's
what
a
a
little
cross
bit-
is?
Gray
This is
I
real
assume it's
no.
when you make a deal
Just
with them
no.
and break it.
I'm just going to say no.
Okay.
No to that.
Then you do understand, though, that what you're also saying no to is the people who are probably better at stealing than we are, we're not interested in using their skills.
Not if I don't know them. No, I'm not.
Okay.
Because I don't know if they're going to handle her. Like, if something comes up, if an emergency happens, I know how we would probably handle it, or at least I know how I would handle it. At this point, I'm beginning to understand that there's a whole lot more ambiguity in what people are willing to do.
Do you want to talk all that out?
I mean, I would.
I'm gonna go now.
Well, so before you go, the other thing we have to see about is if we can try and set up a meeting with the kind men and what we want to do there.
So,
Well,
why are we
there
trying to
is
set up a meeting
There is
with
a
the
source of magic in that warehouse.
Mm-hmm.
I am, unlike the jewelers, I am confident there is no way in hell any of us are going to be able to sneak in there, find the item without getting caught.
If it even is an item,
Right.
it could be a person.
Exactly. So I would like to potentially just make a meeting to meet with them.
About what, though? 'Cause
That's what I don't know what a good thing to meet about would be. And I don't know how, I mean, they're criminals. I don't know how open we can be about the fact, like, ideally I'd like to be able to just tell them, hey, I have found out that you have magic in your warehouse. Let me
Slit your
tell
throat.
Well, and what I would say is, and then offer to show them how to shield it or protect it or take it off their hands. I don't know what the...
Well,
I don't know if you can just say that to them and have that go
I
anywhere
don't
good.
know. I only really know stories. I haven't had many real interactions
I mean,
with them. So
I suppose-
Also, do we have to, like... Is this something that, like, we have to find out about this magic item, or is this just, like,
No, we
passing
don't, but
curiosity?
I
This
would
is a
like to know.
curiosity thing.
I would like to know.
How
Oh, no,
about
that's
we wait a
worth it.
day and then
And we may decide it's not. That's why I said we should find a place
we
where
can
we can
always
talk about it.
use your sand table and see if it moved. See if it's an actual person.
That seeing if it moved doesn't tell us anything. If it's an item that's on you and you're moving, it'll be moving. Like, it moving doesn't actually tell me anything other than it's not locked in a box, potentially.
Okay.
And maybe we decide it's not worth our time. And that's fine. This is why I wanted to find a place where we could talk about it and see, like, because I don't know the best way to deal with these people.
Well, at the moment, I feel like we don't need to worry too much about what the kind men are doing. I think we just leave them alone. Because I feel like that's too much of a hassle.
And it's asking...
And it's asking to make an alliance with someone we don't know if...
I mean, even
trust
alliances
or-
aside, these are people who could potentially oust us no matter where we're, like...
Yeah.
These are people who would probably take a quick buck to sell us out.
the type around here are pretty loyal if they think they're with you.
But that's the thing, is we don't...
We don't know
It's
if
just
they're with
if
us.
they think
Cabbage,
they're with you.
do you know,
Well-
like, do the kind men have anything to do with the operation of this place?
Not that you know of. I mean, looking around,
Not that it's
you're not
counted.
seeing any like thieves' camp marks or anything
And
like
I have
that.
to
don't think
assume
so.
if they claim territory as their own, unless they literally have everyone in that territory under their thumb, I have to assume they are amenable to making a deal that's profitable for them that is also profitable for us. Like, I have to assume that anyone who holds that kind of territory and acts that way, I have to assume that that's something they're willing to do. They don't just sell you anyone they meet out for a quick buck. Otherwise, they wouldn't hold the territory. And again, maybe we don't even want to get involved with it, but what I'm confident in is there's no way we're going to get in there and take a look around
Agreed.
without their permission.
So here's my thought, and I kind of am at a point where I'm understanding that people are going to do what they're going to do regardless. But I think that it's probably setting us up for disaster on one thing if we chase too many things at the same time in the same
Potentially.
span of time. So we feel like the church, the cloister area is going to be an important thing
I mean,
to check out, right?
There is a lot of magic there. Whatever it is, there's a lot of it.
So we want to check that out.
I don't know how we're gonna do that.
I don't know.
We want to keep this lady safe and get the item. And we at some point want to see what the heck is going on in the warehouse.
And then there's the park.
And then go down in the sewers and
That
see
one I
what's
feel
down
like
there.
is probably the
safest
the
of
safest.
all.
Well-
I
Well,
mean, I
it
could be
depends
wrong.
on what's
If there's
down
a group
there.
of thieves that are operating in town, we might be walking into their turf again. But,
I mean, they should have it marked.
okay.
So
Then-
that's something to look for. But
So-
of all of those, that one's the one that feels like, at least right now to me, with
Yeah.
the evidence that we have,
feel
to
like
have
we
the fewest
need-
complications.
I think we need
Yeah.
to scope out the cloister church a lot more before we even attempt to try and figure out what's in there, because that is basically trying to knock into Fort Knox.
Yeah.
Well, we'll circle back around to that.
Any involvement that we have with any other group of criminals
Mm-hmm.
is going to put the lady with the magical item at higher risk. Because even if we don't reach out to them for help, if they are watching us because we're doing something that is of interest to them,
Right.
then they will be watching us move into her territory. So I'm not opposed to checking that out. I think it's worth being curious about, but I don't think that needs to happen at the same time that we're doing anything that deals with her.
Okay.
If,
So we need
Yeah.
to decide priorities as far as
So,
If you all want to work on the cloister a little bit today, see what you can find out.
what are you gonna do?
He's gonna go.
I'm gonna go work for her,
and
feel her
see
out
if,
a little
See
bit.
if maybe we can just explain to her what's going on, and she'll part ways with it.
Yeah.
You don't have any gems that we could trade for it, do you?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Unless we can find, I don't even know if we could find anything.
Yeah, the only gem work I did was back in the mountain, and that was.
I mean, I can
Could-
make a fake gem, but that's not going to be of much worth if you know it's a fake.
How could we even get 500 in a week?
I still have
I don't
one
know.
barrel, but we're looking at 50 gold there.
And I'm not gonna lie, that looks like a real expensive. That's a big price tag for something I'm not sure what it does.
And that is fair.
I am uncomfortable paying that much for it.
I'm not even sure that we would be able to. Really, I think the only two options are presenting ourselves as people who are going to take it away to keep her safe, in whatever way we present ourselves to do so, whether we say that we're representatives of the government or just concerned people. But either that or we trade it out. Those are really the only two options, I think. So
If you want to go scope out the place, then
Yeah, I'll go
Do
do
some-
some actual work, and I mean, push comes to shove, we earn a little bit of extra cash, and then
Yeah,
we do
that's
something
not
else
bad.
with it. So
and then you want to meet up with us after you're done with that, and then around nighttime we can go
Go check
wander
out
around that sewer.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Did they close the gates into town at night?
I don't know that you guys were close enough to know if they.
What would I
had.
assume? Well, actually, I bet Cabbage would know.
Oh, Cabbage would know. You know that, yeah, they do close the city gates at night.
okay.
We can always find an inn just for the
Also,
night.
I mean,
I can.
we could stay inside the city walls, go check it out, and then sneak back out. I'm also not particularly worried about our ability to sneak out of town.
Well, or
Honestly, yeah.
go through the gate.
I don't think they'll let us out.
We'll
But,
see.
I mean, there's a river. Like,
No, that's why I'm not too worried about our ability to
Yeah.
get out of town.
We have ways out.
So the four of us are gonna scope out the church and Pelion Order.
I actually. I would like to go find out a little bit more about the Kind Men, just because this is a sort of territory that I know how to get into. I relate with these people. I just want to find out a little bit more.
There's another thing to consider about them.
What?
If they don't like the Empire,
That's what I'm
I
thinking.
think
They
that they
might
could
make
be
good
good
contacts
allies. Yeah.
for-
That's why I want
rebellion.
to find out a little bit more.
Like honestly, I'm not
At least
opposed
finding
to
out about that
approaching
is
them
not-
in
isn't a good
general. I
idea.
just don't want
No,
yeah,
anything
not in
we're
the
I
doing.
agree.
context. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why I just want to go in just as
Um,
myself.
They could
that
be really
being
beneficial.
said, and I don't know if you want to stay for it or not, do you want to have a discussion about your concerns about lines and where people's are and crossing them and other such things?
I don't know
Because
how
this
to talk
has
this
come
out.
up several times now.
We can talk about it.
I don't know how. I'm not good at words. I'm not sure if you've noticed.
no.
No,
Not at all.
not at all.
But you
Was
usually
that
get
sarcasm?
No.
No.
I don't believe you.
Were you gonna incite us?
We all roll deception checks.
Oh, actually, that would have been above a 20. Unless you're actively trying to deceive instead of be sarcastic.
That was 13, so. I have yet to roll a deception higher than your insight.
I do have a plus
Can't
6.
lie to your sister.
I can't lie to my sister-in-law, apparently.
Yeah.
Too much like Adrian.
Because I am beginning to suspect that
You're having
this
some
issue
moral
is going
issues.
to keep coming up.
I do think it would be good to have a discussion about boundaries. It may be good for you to have some time to think about what it is you want to say, because I know you do better when you have time to think it out.
Write it down.
Write it down.
That's something you do a lot of, is writing in your journal. If you write down some key points,
I do think it'd be good to have a discussion though, because we all do need to be on the same page.
Yeah, I agree.
So, why don't you go with cabbage?
I think it might be better if I go by myself for this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
especially where she's sort of
Also, I
out
want
in
her
town.
for the cloister.
Yep.
What
Do you have your
want
stuff
me
with you?
To do.
I mean, I keep
You-
my
you can
bag
come with
with
us.
me,
Okay.
but it's got that usually because it just strikes me that it might be handy to
I
have.
mean,
an
Yeah, at
image.
any given point when we're in a
It's,
town.
it's a church, so like presumably we can walk in.
Yeah, like
Parishioners.
just, in normal
Yeah.
churches, we can just go in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so like presumably we can at the very least walk in and take a look around
Mhm.
the public space area and try and determine like is it built on something? Are they storing things in
Yeah,
the
we always
basement?
do
What
that.
are we?
Yeah.
Should I go ahead and put my robes on to give us
No.
possible? Okay.
Because I don't want to have to try and explain to these people who you are, why you're here.
And why you're with us.
That was what I was thinking,
Yeah.
but I also wanted to make sure
No.
that we were.
I think
Working
right now
on the
we're just
same
gonna
wavelength.
poke around and poke our heads in, and sort of like what we've done so far with everything else. Just poke our heads in and see
Just check.
what's there, what it looks like, and formulate an idea.
We don't kill anybody.
I wasn't planning on it.
We don't steal anything.
Wasn't planning on it
Wasn't
yet.
planning on it right now.
Okay.
I already told you I'm planning on it later.
Okay, that's fair.
All right. Good team meeting. Break.
All right.
But before we go, I'm gonna go talk to the proprietress.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
She's a nice lady.
How much was
I hope
the meal?
It's whatever the standard meal
silver.
was. Yeah, so
Two silver.
2 silver.
If this is a higher class place.
I'll pay for dinner.
Oh no. I'll throw out 6 silver on the table.
I'm gonna motion for the.
I'll pay another 6 silver.
Alright.
then.
She comes over
Wait,
to you.
another 6.
That's
For
an
the whole
interesting
thing?
platform.
Oh, okay.
Office.
Okay.
She sort of cuts her eyes to it. Why, yes. Yes, it is.
I'd be interested to know who exactly is blessing this place.
Well, it's not an active thing, you understand. It was something that happened.
Really?
Quite a long time ago.
Do you know any of the details?
I don't.
Do you know if
unfortunately.
anyone here does?
Are you willing to rat anybody out?
Seems like a
Let
really
me-
interesting story.
So I'm gonna look at Cabbage. I'm like, these are like, you trust this place, right?
Yeah.
I myself am favorable to such beings that might have blessed this place. So, if you know anyone, I would be interested in learning more.
Particularly subtle, but thanks.
Really?
The back.
Use your words.
I said
Gain
Oh,
of
the
doom.
back.
thank
I
you.
heard the back thing.
I
was
heard
like,
bag. So
Yeah, I was like, I don't know.
Back.
Well, you do know that you don't discuss such things in the open,
Sure.
of course. And I do also have to be careful that none of the ruffians, the local ruffians, are around either. Just they don't highly prize those individuals. But there are a few of us, a handful, throughout Lamont's Wells that gather on occasion when the calendar warrants.
I don't suppose we're lucky enough there's one of those meetings coming up pretty soon.
There's one next week. I don't know if you'll still be around.
Not if things go according to plan. If it's possible, and I understand if it's not or if you don't trust me enough for this, but anyone who you could gather together, I would be interested in meeting with and talking with. I have some things I think that would interest all of you to share. Again, if you don't trust me that far, that's fine. But
It's not that I don't trust you. It's I just don't know you. Of course, you understand. And
Yeah.
that being said,
oh, but I do know her.
I assume you'll vouch for me in this.
I do. Actually, I didn't realize that you were interested in that kind of artwork.
Well, I'll have to speak to one of the boys. We normally keep it a little bit more hidden than that.
That's fair.
Tapestries and all
That's
covering
fair.
it. And yes, I'm not quite sure why it's so prominent tonight. But I'll
Maybe a
deal with that.
happy chance. Because
Perhaps.
this particular group I'm with interested in that kind of stuff.
Oh, well, that's
But one ale.
good to know.
Oh, you drank the stuff I gave you. That's
Apparently.
He's a doozy.
Strong stuff.
As
I want her
for
to-
getting some of us together,
I don't know how you can, if there's a way for you to get the word out, but
I mean, we're sort of a loose
I understand.
group, and we, there's not a lot official, obviously. So it would be tough, especially with the meetings scheduled for next week.
Anyone you could get together, I think it would be very helpful for both of us. If you can. But I leave that up to you. I just saw the plaque and
I'll see
Was
what I can
interested.
do. It may take a couple of days.
that's fine.
All right.
I'm glad I'm not here for that.
That was a surprise. Yep.
Me too. Okay.
Okay.
I feel
All
like
right.
maybe we should talk about that next time before we start trying to gather meetings.
I mean, you don't have to come, but I feel obligated to.
Oh,
Wait,
No, I feel obligated to hold the meeting.
are you becoming like a priest or something?
I'm something. They show up when I call sometimes.
I think you're the favorite child or something.
Not fair.
All I know
And
is
your god is like the red-headed stepchild. Of
all
the
I know is
gods.
they show up occasionally when I ask,
The one that has to wear a
and
helmet.
they gave me powers and stuff. So I feel like I am in some way indebted to that.
Just being their IT guy, I suppose.
So yeah, I feel like, and I'm interested to meet other people who, like, believe and follow them.
Are you gonna start a church or something? Are you gonna have to wear a funny hat?
Probably not. I don't know.
Next time we see Castian, I'm gonna have to have him make you a funny hat.
I mean, I'm not planning on starting a church, but also anyone who's people interested in or who believe in the old gods are a good place to scout for recruits for the rebellion.
You're not wrong on that.
All right.
But,
So
but maybe some warning next time so our faces don't fall off might be nice.
Yeah, I mean, she's got a point. I did not expect you to be like, yes, I'd like to place a meeting.
Please.
okay.
Maybe this is something we will have to talk about.
I
back
think it
at
might be.
Yep.
Back at the ranch.
How you feeling about your religion?
Yep.
Alrighty. So to
All right.
church
So
for
you're heading off.
I'm going to go work.
Okay. And then
And then we're going to the cloister.
The three of us are
Church.
Church
Okay.
Cloister
And then-
and scouting the
She's
claim.
on Mission
Okay.
Impossible.
Do you want?
I will take this opportunity to remind you, if you get into trouble, you can use your necklace to send any of the rest of us.
Also,
that have one.
Cabbage. Would you like some backup?
Oh, by the way, you have
Ooh, should
one.
be okay.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, it's in
Okay.
the shape of a
but
bear.
thanks. Shape of a what?
His is in
so
the shape of a bear.
That checks out.
so we will start with Cabbage. Once you leave the filthy cobbler.
The
The
dirty
cobbler.
cow.
cobbler.
You
What-
dirty,
so
dirty cow.
once you leave the filthy cobbler, what you're doing?
Cover band.
What you doing? How are you approaching this?
Confidence and pride.
So, for those who know Thieves' Cant,
Mm-hmm.
it's marked when you're going into the territory.
Yes.
Are there any other markers around?
Not that you can see here.
That'd be like safe haven. or
Yeah,
things like
yeah.
that.
There's a
Out.
few that are like,
Murder Alley.
there's a few that are like the city guards stop here, or this is a safe place to be, or there are there's this shop, the owner is tied to the group and can,
This owner's under protection.
yeah, under protect, things like that. So basically, basic things like that. Places to go, people you can trust. And then once you for sure,
It's okay. Everything's fine.
once you for sure
No.
get into their let's like where they've got the stranglehold territory. Those are the big signs that you see.
Okay. Okay, tell me a little bit more about the guards that are in front of this warehouse. One of them's like a fruit seller. One
Yeah,
of
so
them's-
so one of them has got like a and from the time that you've been there, it's like faces have changed, but the roles they're playing haven't. So
stations are the same.
yeah, the stations are the same. The faces have changed. So you're already getting a sense that it's sort of a large group that watches this place. One of them is sort of this produce stand, and the produce is very questionable. There's on one corner there's a group of like 2 or 3 bums, basically just sitting, leaned against the building, under trash, homeless kind of look to them. There are a couple of these are actual people standing guard of the warehouse. They've got on sort of the company, just like hired guards look. So they've got decent looking armor and weapons, standing at the main entrances. But scattered around there are pockets of people who are trying to blend into this is I'm supposed to be here, but they're watching the warehouse.
Right. Okay, I'm gonna go over to the fruit stand or the produce stand.
Okay. It is really sad looking produce. There are
We're over here just talking about like
Describing it.
yeah, so there
like
are
a carrot that's just like
there
a
are
head of lettuce that's just flat.
yeah, so the spinach is starting to get a little wilty. There's like these real teeny tiny puny beets that are real wrinkly and almost mummified.
Celery that's
and the
just white.
greens have started to go a little bit brown and slimy. The carrots are sad, just real sad. There are a couple of like two very small little tomatoes, and one of them is starting to get a little bit of that white moldy fuzz on it.
City is sick.
Yeah.
What fruit there is like dry and wrinkly.
If you're gonna have a fake food stand,
How many flies are
at
there
least
around?
like
All those tiny little
Not that
nap ones.
many.
Yeah.
Not that many
some wax
actually.
food out there, man. So it looks like it's legit. They're not even pretending.
Hello.
Hi,
How you doing today?
I've been better.
My name's Cabbage. Your stand's a disgrace to my name.
Sorry.
Yep.
Your stand.
And he just kind of stares at you like you're stupid or something. It's like, what?
Sorry, that was a that was a joke. What's your name?
Chuck.
Chuck.
Why not?
Do people ever make jokes about your name?
Only once.
Now he's.
You get one.
You better make it good, or else you'll be wearing cement shoes.
Sleep with the fishes.
So I better not make a joke about your name.
I wouldn't.
That's fair.
The Brazilian necktie.
That's fair. So, saw the markings up by the wharf, head of the wharf.
What do you mean?
The ones that said things on that pillar.
Worst criminal.
And what do keys do? They open tings?
I don't know what you're asking about, little sparrow.
Oh, a nickname.
Not a good thing.
I think that we're gonna be friends, Chuck. So I'm really just trying to learn more about the kindness around here.
As subtle as a bag
I
of
end up in
potatoes.
Lamont's Wells a lot, on boats and things. I come in here with greybeard sometimes.
Well, I know
next time
Greybeard.
Greybeard's in town, he's gonna get his throat slit.
I know Greybeard.
He's a good guy.
Yes.
Yeah, he and I are actually pretty close. I'm actually from Sediton, so I'm not too far away. Sort of homegrown, as you might say.
Everybody on the dock's already recognized her.
Yeah,
That
that
cat's
is-
already
yeah,
out
no,
of the
like,
bag.
Yeah, that
Over
is true.
here, everyone knows who I am. Like,
Yeah.
there's no ruse here. I'm not gonna say I'm Eleanor.
So, I'm not trying to be like pokey in a bad way. I just want to learn a little bit more about the kindness.
Well, we kill with it.
We smother you with it, and then
This is my pillowcase. It says kindness.
You're asking a lot of very dangerous questions, little sparrow.
I imagine that that's probably true. But you ask dangerous questions and you get interesting answers sometimes.
And sometimes you get a dagger between your shoulder blades.
True, I'm trying to avoid that. But do I look nefarious to you?
No, but then again, not real sure what you look like.
I look like a pirate, Chuck.
quote that.
I
Quote
look
that right now.
like a pirate, Chuck.
Was that Keith or was that Chuck?
That was Chuck. You're not a pirate, little sparrow.
No, but I look like one.
Technically, we just need to steal one boat to be pirates.
Did we already
No.
technically? No, we didn't.
I'm afraid to tell you, you don't look nothing like a pirate.
I mean, admittedly, I've only ever read about them in books, you see.
You want to meet one?
Huh?
Oh no.
Hold on, what did you say?
You won't
You want to meet one?
For real life.
Yes, please.
And he's just going to sort of glance over at someone across the street. And he's going to reach out and he's going to reach out and grab your shoulder. Come with me, little sparrow.
No.
And he's
you
going to
didn't want
lead you.
backup.
Oh no.
He's going to lead you towards the entrance of the warehouse.
I'm going to take this.
And we're gonna leave
remind
it
you,
there.
You can message any of us at any time.
No. I actually don't have a problem with where this is going.
I wonder
We're
where.
going to come back to that.
I wonder where Cabbage went, and then just like on the.
This is how Cabbage dies.
I don't actually think that she's gonna die. She's
I don't
very
think so either,
disarming.
actually. Oh, that's true.
That's really cool. Send it.
So,
Not many people can say
Now.
the things that she said and not be killed the way that's
when
very
you
true
leave
already.
the filthy cobbler, talk us through it. What
I mean,
happens?
he's just headed straight back. He's following the same route because he doesn't want to get lost.
Okay.
Mal puts his left foot forward, and then his right
Okay.
foot forward, and then his left.
So you head back to where you were before.
Mhm.
All right. And once you get there, you walk in.
He'll walk in and he'll actually pull out some of the tools that he found in the little alcove, like in the underground place by the entrance to the Dwarven City.
Okay.
And he'll say, I'm happy to show you some work if you'd like to see it, and then perhaps we can discuss rates and things like that.
Sure. Let's see what you can do. And she will sort of lead you to a workstation. It is in clear view of the entire store, so that she can still
Do
watch
her
the
work.
store and still watch you as well. And she can sit you down. And there are several there's several unfinished settings. There's some stones. Then there's just some raw materials.
Do you have anything specific that you want to see? Otherwise, I've
Just-
got an idea.
Just show me what you can do.
Yep. So Mal is going to start with wire, and
Okay.
he's actually going to do a wire wrapping. So he's going for a sort of like a tree bark texture with the wire wrapping,
Okay.
and then he's going to go ahead and set whatever smallish gems he can find because he doesn't want to use something expensive, especially where he's just basically showing off.
Mhm.
But he'll do a quick setting for something small like that in this sort of wire wrapped tree fashion.
Okay.
What materials are available there? Is there any copper by chance, like strung copper?
Yeah, so there would be some of that. So
Okay. So what he'll do is he'll actually take some of the strung copper, and he's going to rub. Gosh dang
What?
it, Lance!
Hey, bingo!
He's going to try to burnish it to get sort of that greeny color, particularly on the ends where it would be meeting the gem, to sort of further that illusion of being a natural in
Okay.
look.
all right. So do you have proficiency with jeweler's tools?
Mhm.
Okay. Go ahead and make a roll. Let's use your dexterity for that.
Okay. So that would be 18.
Okay. Turns out pretty well. And she'll come back over and take a look at it and say, it's very nice.
Thank you.
Do you have another order for a nobleman's seal? Would you care to try your hand at that for a bit?
Certainly.
I know you've got your own that we're going to work on for you, perhaps.
I'll have to work with government.
Of course. But yeah, if you wouldn't mind working on this seal just a little bit, just take about 5 minutes or so. Let's see what you can do with it in 5 minutes.
And so he'll make sort of a show of the particular tools he's using because
Mhm.
they're old and he had to work a long time to get them back in shape. So
Okay.
he'll lay those out and then start working on it.
All right. Go ahead and make another roll.
19.
Okay. So you spend your 5 minutes working on it, you know, getting the details just exactly right, and when she comes back,
Chipper gifted a sub to Danny.
Thank you.
I love it.
Happy 12 months.
Can't do my Prime membership from my phone, and I keep forgetting that I have to do that on my computer.
So she does come back after 5 minutes. Now it's obvious that you have not finished the seal because she didn't give you that. Yeah, she didn't give you that kind of time. But what you worked on was, you know, very finely done, very well done. It's like, oh, I can see that you are in fact quite handy with those. You were asking about a certain discount on one of my pieces. Is that what did you have in mind?
Whatever your rate would be for my work for a couple of days.
Okay. Well, we'll have to see what you can get accomplished in those couple of days and
Certainly.
see how it would affect things. It's about time for me to close up shop
Certainly.
for the afternoon and evening. I do tend to start about an hour after sunrise. If you'll be here tomorrow at that time,
Certainly.
I'll have several projects for you to work on. And
I'd like to hear that.
then we'll see where things go.
Before I leave, would you like to sample any of my other wares? I've got my main business is in alcohol. I can send you home with some if you'd like.
That's quite all right, thank you.
That's fine. Well, have a good evening.
Good evening.
Bastard.
That whole scene was just one big euphemism.
Would you like to sample some of my other wares?
Well, let's see what you can accomplish in that time.
All right.
Very handy.
Dexterous your fingers are.
Back to the main group.
Hello.
As you
Oh,
finish
that's
your
us.
dinner,
We're the main group.
The main
As-
group.
How does that make you two feel? We're the main group.
What?
I mean,
you
one
are the
one versus the bulk.
yeah. So as you finish your dinner,
Whatever makes
and
you feel
leave
better.
the filthy cobbler, where you going? What you doing?
The cloister and church.
Cloister's such a weird.
Let's take
To
church
the
tour.
oyster.
Oh, what a nice organ you have. When was it installed?
All right. So
A nice
okay there?
organ. Born with it.
Ignore me. Please ignore me.
All right, so it's it's afternoon. You guys make your way to the Church of the Empress and walk through the main gates and onto the grounds.
So before we walk in, Killian is going to be like, okay, so if we have to actually pretend like we're actual worshippers, you two might have to tell me if I'm doing something wrong, because I don't actually know how any of this works.
Okay.
Mel would have been in the exact same boat.
I've never attended one of these churches. I don't know how you're supposed to do any of it. So
I'll send you instructions should you need it.
How detailed am I in the
I had to memorize it.
I mean, I
So either one of you make a religion check at advantage, or
That's
so
your
when I
religion.
pray, do I pray like, "Oh, mighty Empress,"
Take
and then when
advantage.
he prays, does he pray like, "Oh, great Mother"?
Hey, Mom!
Hey.
Advantage.
Mi madre.
Oh.
better. It was 5. It's a 14. I worked here for
Mommy.
crying out loud.
Mama. Lois.
Lois.
I mean, you don't have a lot of time, so you're condensing. Is
I'm
the main?
explaining.
Yeah, you're explaining and condensing, and
Well, I thought that I was just doing that as I go, as far as like, okay,
Oh.
now
You
you're
know,
gonna
that's
do
what I
this,
thought
now
we
you're
were-
gonna do this. So I thought he was having me roll to see if I actually knew anything.
oh
I was
no,
like,
no,
I
no, no,
lived
no.
this life.
It's not what you know. It's
How much
how
can
I
you
can-
how
handle?
can you explain it to him in a condensed time? Because you don't have a lot of time.
Because Killian also waited until we were right about to walk in the door to be like, by the way, I don't know what I'm doing.
Okay.
Gotcha.
We can
Right.
help you with that.
Okay.
How to worship my mother.
It's like, walk in the door and there's the basin there. Like, dab the fingers.
You lick it,
Don't lick it. They throw you out for that.
drink the water.
And I was like, oh, I can refill my water skin.
No, Killian, no.
So as you get past the main entryway, you've done the ceremonial,
Smack yourself on the head.
yeah, the ceremonial cleansing and smashing your head and yada yada. You are
The
met.
Empire has calluses built up right here.
Yep.
You are met by
Neanderthal.
one of the novices of the order. She's a young woman. She's got fairly short hair. I mean, it's you recognize the haircut, you recognize the build, you recognize where you would have been sort of at her station in your training. Welcome to the Church of the Empress. How may I help you?
Oh, we've not been in this particular church before. We were hoping to kind of look around and just
Of
kind
course.
of commune with the energy that's here.
Of course, I would be more than happy to show you around and explain the history of the church. What are your names?
Panic!
Visla.
Nice to meet you.
Jail.
Nice to meet you.
Connor.
My name is Dagwood, and I'm happy to.
That is not in character.
No,
but
it's not.
no.
It's not.
And I will. I'd be more than happy to show you around the grounds and give you a little bit of history.
Oh, I'd love to hear the history of the place.
This church was built on some old ruins when the room was when the.
We might as well
Oh, that's all we needed to know.
be all we're here for.
From when the town was reestablished, we have one of the more extensive libraries of church documents.
Did you watch me go, ooh, oh?
One of the most extensive library of church documents and historical documents to be found anywhere outside of Costas.
How much does paper weigh? And how much we fit in a bag of holding?
500 cubic feet.
I'm sure we can fill a library in 500 cubic feet.
There's been a church of the Empress on these grounds for according to our records, it dates back almost 4,000 years.
Wow.
Does that fit?
Yes.
Okay, I thought it was 3,000 when it fell. Okay.
So what was here before?
Well, the earliest church records, were a little unclear, but they think it might have been some kind of library.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Interesting. Why did you guys decide, well, I guess this is far enough removed, you might not know, but is there a reason that you chose Lamont Wells to establish, I mean, this is a pretty grand place for the area.
Yes, this place was chosen because it was far enough from the sea that another calamity like that which founded the empire would never destroy the church here.
Fair enough.
That does make sense.
Raise it to the ground.
Literally, I'm writing in Killian's notes. This church is a linchpin church.
Yep.
Make sure that you have a plan to deal with it.
Big bada boom.
You see church, I see fortification.
It was placed here to be the last hold in case of calamity ever befell the rest of the empire. Be a shame if something happened here.
No. We wouldn't want other people to learn that. It's a beautiful feat of architecture. Can you tell me anything about that?
And
Killian,
she'll start
Killian
explaining.
open, you like not enough to actually, but like when you ask that, you see Killian open his mouth halfway and be like, right.
So she will go into sort of the history of how it was designed, or at least what's in the official records of how it was designed and how it was built. Jives mostly with what you're seeing. There's no reason for her to lie about any of that.
Oh yeah, yeah. She's just doing her job.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. She's playing host, and she does lead you into the church proper, and it is laid out for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's eerie because this room is almost like brick for brick a carbon copy of Mom's throne room.
Oh no.
Right down to the throne at the far end.
To the stained glass.
To the stained glass, everything.
Look up, seeing that there's not a hole.
I was trying to say, he's like, okay, I'm good.
Oh, I'm sorry. It is quite drafty in here. Are you all right?
I'm fine.
Okay, good.
Just the awe of this room.
Yes, it is quite wonderful, isn't it? It is. We are told it is an almost exact replica of the throne room in Costas. I've not had the pleasure of seeing that grandness in person.
You don't say. Such a feat of architecture.
I'm sorry, I didn't ask. Where are you all from?
Oh, here and there.
We're a traveling workshop, sort of. So everybody sort of picked up in the group from different places. We've been together for a while now, so all over.
Oh, sorry.
I just remembered there's a part of the garden you just absolutely have to see. If you'll follow me.
Insight on what that was. Insight on what that was, please. 7.
Nat 20.
There's a part of the garden that we use to bury bodies. I'd like to show it to you.
Would you like to be a body in my garden?
We go to that part of the garden and just stepping out of
So
the
what was
7.
7?
Stepping out from
17,
behind a
17,
tree
okay.
is just the old lady from Saturday who's like, I'm back!
I
You
told
thought you
you
were
were here.
So
Did I have to take my weapons off when we came in?
That was a good question. No.
Okay,
Oh.
good.
Okay, sorry. I just realized I was like, oh, I carry swords on my back. Did I have to?
no,
I have a
not
shield
that.
with a dragon. I don't know if they know what a dragon is.
So for you, she just connected something in her head.
For the natural 20.
She recognized you.
Oh
Okay.
shit.
Does she seem to be like, is she friend or foe?
See, I thought she was. When I made the joke about burying bodies, I thought it was going to be our bodies. It's actually going to be her body now.
I mean,
Seems like friend.
Okay, we'll follow
Okay.
along.
She's
like a
not
good garden.
hurrying. She's still pointing out features of the architecture and features of the grounds. She does lead you sort of away from the main sort of touristy and supplicant paths and into a quiet spot. You kind of get a feel that it's kind of a similar feel to the cloister, both in the capital and in Sutterton. So she's leading you towards sort of a quiet meditation garden type area.
I read
Thank
that
you.
wrong. I
Uh,
did not read popping.
And
Just
thank
pooping
you.
in.
Thanks. Thank you so much. So you.
Logan.
That's Logan.
Oh, hi, Logan. Sorry.
So once she sort of gets you there, she's gonna usher you in and then look over her shoulder again and make sure that you are truly alone. And then she's gonna reach into her robe and she's gonna pull out.
So as soon as she starts reaching into a robe, Killian is reaching for one of his swords on his back.
It's fine. She's like, it's just a letter, and hands it to Simi.
Who gave you this?
Master Akarai.
You believe it?
It's filled with anthrax.
It's actually from Rosk. Yep. So I'll open it.
It's got a pressed amaranth in it. First of all,
This is probably a private letter.
It's got a painting of him like one of the friends.
Man, he's posed in front of a fire. There's a lion skin rug on the floor. He has a glass of wine.
My problem with that is who did it? Who drew it?
Excellent point.
One of his poor retainers is just.
Do I have to draw the?
can I not draw your
Quick
bits?
scan. Is there anything?
Okay. I just
Love
wanted
you,
to
you're
take
great,
I just
I
wanted
miss
to take a
you.
moment to let you know that I was thinking about you. There are cracks in the foundation here in the church. In trying to run them down, I found some interesting tidbits in the archives. There's no signature, and he's leaving the amaranth itself as his signature.
Gotcha. So, yep, exactly. Paint me like one of your tiefling girls, Jack.
Across the sea.
So, I feel like this girl is reasonably trustworthy since, okay.
Mhm.
Did you read that out loud or just to yourself?
I assume just to herself.
So, I
'Cause it might have been
understand
sexy.
that there are some cracks in the foundations.
Literal or metaphorically?
That's what I was wondering.
More metaphorical than literal.
I don't suppose you're one of those cracks.
I haven't been here long enough. There's
Oh, yeah, like a Rottweiler.
Oh, Killian will like visibly relax though.
No, I'm relaxing.
there's
We don't kill people here.
Well, yet.
We don't kill innocent people here.
Yet.
No, I'll go with that. We don't kill innocent people here.
Here. Okay, we need to stop because she hit me once. It's gonna keep happening. If we keep doing this, I'm gonna be sore.
there are there's dissension here among the members of the order.
So don't have to blow it up.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
fun.
They run deep, but of late they've gotten much wider.
Dissension.
I don't suppose there's a
how?
reason for that.
None that I'm privy to, unfortunately. I'm new. I was only just being initiated when Master Akarai came through.
I don't suppose there's someone you could set up a meeting with for us that would know more.
Perhaps. I assume you'll want to talk to Master Akrai's ally?
Yep.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Is now a good time?
I think I was gonna say
or...
preferably now, if possible.
I'm not sure that it's possible right now. Master Hobbs is,
Do I know this name?
you wouldn't, I mean, it's familiar, but that may only be
Not
because you heard it when you were here before. Master Hobbs is in the middle of meditations until sundown, and won't be around
Isn't it like
until
noon?
for public
like 1 o'clock?
for public audiences until tomorrow morning.
So I'm gonna kind of look at Simi and be like, how impossible would it be to interrupt said private meditations?
It's frowned on severely.
Well, so is going against the Empress, so...
Yeah, dissenting would be
Yeah.
pretty frowned upon too.
If he is an ally of Akarai, it is very important that we talk with him.
Can we establish a private
Do, do,
audience,
do, do,
perhaps, by the evening after he's done with his leading of meditations?
That might be possible. Are you staying in town? I can send you
No, we're staying
Just
outside of town.
outside.
But I think we're staying in town for the rest of the
day.
We can come check back by in about an hour or two.
Yes, give me an hour and I will see what I can arrange for you.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you for your help.
Any friend of Akrai's.
And that is in character.
At which point she will
Is that Milo?
continue. At which point, ignoring all of that, she will continue with the tour, pointing out things about the compound.
Is the archives public or private?
There are portions that are public, and there are portions that are only open to members of the Apillian Order.
I mean, we could spend an hour looking at the public records
Oh,
before...
right now.
We can come back once we know a little bit more
Okay.
about what we'd like to see.
So she'll continue the tour, pointing out parts of the compound, and about a half hour or so later, you do return back to the main courtyard, the entryway to the area. She bids you farewell and turns, unless there's something you need to say to her. she'll bid you farewell and then turn and head back towards the main building.
Well, that was almost dangerous and deadly.
Yeah.
I got a really good feeling from her though, so hopefully you don't mind that I took that risk.
No, I mean, we're gonna have to take risks. That's the name of the game. Well, should we go see if anybody is dead or?
Yeah, we should
In
probably check on
prison or-
campage.
I mean, we can always just use these.
Oh,
We
okay.
have-
I only want to use them if we have to.
Okay, fair. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I guess in case, I guess we can see if we see her anywhere. But if not, we'll start off checking in with Mal,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Yep.
if we still haven't seen her,
Yep.
we should reach out.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, same page.
All right, so you guys are going to go check in with Mal
Mhm.
Yep.
then? Okay.
I assume Mal's still working at this point.
Yeah,
I don't
you're
know. It
s-
sounds like she closes up shop pretty early.
Yeah, she was closing up pretty early.
Okay.
So it's actually probably about the same time that you would be getting done, that they would be getting done. So it wouldn't be hard for you guys to link up.
How'd it go?
Good, but it almost went very, very bad.
Yeah.
A
Thankfully,
day in the life.
Yep.
yeah.
Our
Thankfully, we have friends.
I'm gonna stop
See,
you
we-
right there and remind you that we are on a street corner, in public.
I know. I was going to say our friend's friend left a couple of open channels for us here in the city.
Okay.
Someone got a love note that had some more important information inside.
Gotcha.
It was mainly the more important information.
Sure,
Mhm.
I saw the flower.
Signature.
A signature is something you write on a piece of paper.
Yeah, he didn't do that.
Yeah, he
Signature
gave
can
you a
also be
flower
a certain
instead.
way you kill someone.
You're not there.
Wow, Dark.
Has anyone
I wonder if you got
seen-
anthrax and amaranth mixed up.
He's like, why isn't it working? I've been amaranth bombing everyone in the capital, and none of them have died.
Anyone seen Eleanor?
Nope.
Nope.
Okay.
I'm like, who? Oh.
Honestly.
No, that's our next. So let's go see if she's at the cobbler in the neighborhood, and then. Oh, and we set a meeting with somebody at the church later.
Okay. And I'll need to be back in town first thing in the morning, and I can do some more talking.
Did you
Well,
get
if
anywhere
we're-
with that?
Not yet.
Is it closed?
Yeah, apparently she closes up pretty early.
Is that normal? For merchants?
I mean, she's a jeweler.
Well, no, that's what I'm asking. Like, in Killian's experience with other merchants, like, that seems way too early.
Well, to be fair, you haven't exactly met someone who owns a shop.
I mean, it
Aside from
seems early. A lot of the other shops are still open.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Should we be concerned?
Hmm.
Or I suppose at
I
least
mean, I didn't
alert.
pick up on anything weird.
Well, okay, we'll see. Maybe, I don't know, maybe she has a dinner appointment. I don't know.
Yeah. Keep eyes open while you're working with her, though, just in case.
Yeah.
Let's go check up
I'm
on...
super perceptive about stuff like that.
Let's go
Don't worry.
check
That's what I was just thinking when you're like, nothing I picked up on. I'm like, because you're
Yep.
the best person to know.
Let's go check on Eleanor.
Oh, we did find out that the church is built on the ruins of a library.
Oh,
Yep.
An
So
elven ruin.
I don't think they said
And
that.
yeah, I don't
I
think we
did not
specifically
say
got
that.
Never mind. I know.
Anyway, so time
Worth
to go
noting,
find
yeah.
our little Eleanor.
No.
Speaking of which.
Speaking of, so Chuck ushers you past the guards at the door. He just sort of nods at him. He's got his hand on your shoulder.
I'll nod
He
too.
pushes the door open. Inside the warehouse, it is a warehouse. So there's stacks and stacks and stacks of stuff. Lots of different rows. that all sort of funnel down to the far end that looks like it might be down at the riverside. So things can be stored here, out of the weather, and be loaded from the warehouse almost directly onto a boat or a barge. You've stopped at a couple of these a couple of times in your trips.
Looks like a warehouse.
Yeah, it looks like a warehouse. On the end that's furthest away from the river, there are some rooms that have been sort of closed off. The first one you come into is sort of a reception area, so it's got a desk and the reception's desk and places to sit. There are a couple of roughs sitting there, boots propped up on the countertop, swords hanging down by their side, very much at ease. The picture of bandits or ruffians, or dare you say, pirates.
But you have heard of
And he's still got his hand on your arm, and he walks you right past the reception area.
Howdy.
There's a sort of right behind that. There's a like a kitchen dining room area, and there's tables just full, again, roughs. Some of them look like they're dressed to be the guards outside, taking the different stations. There's card games going, thick smoke, drink is pouring.
Cabbage is in it.
It
I
is.
really hope Captain Hook is playing the piano in the corner.
King, king.
And he keeps going. He sort of says fight, and keeps going.
Hello.
And then he gets you to the very, very end.
For I am a pirate king.
The last room, and he knocks on the door, and without waiting for a come in, pushes it open and pushes you in.
This is when we find out it was Greybeard all along.
This office is like lavish and like almost gaudy lavish. The desk is as big as a couple of king-size beds.
It's mahogany, isn't it?
Mahogany!
Teak. And it's got just bejeweled everything. There are beads and chains hanging everywhere. And behind the desk, with her back to you, is like the picture of a female pirate. Tricorn hat and everything on top of her head. And she turns around to you. What have we here?
Hold on, let me pick up my jaw real quick.
Close your mouth, Cabbage. We are not a codfish.
Cabbage just had her personal awakening right now.
Cabbage's orientation is pirate, apparently.
What is this, Chuck?
I forgot
So-
Chuck.
Boy, she wanted to see a pirate. She said she thought she looked like one. Oh, well, that's sweet.
How far away
I
from
mean,
the
we
sea
do
are
have
we?
a similar hat.
Why is she here?
I think I like mine better.
I like yours better.
So, you like pirates, do you?
I have read lots of stories about pirates. I find them very intriguing.
What do you like the most?
I love how she's wavering.
The couch was not prepared.
We're gonna find Cabbage sitting on the corner, like sitting on the curb, just.
I'm in love.
Well, they have lots of adventures, and typically the ones I read about steal from the rich, snobby people and give to the poor, lowly people, and lots of adventures. Very romantic life. Lots of time on the sea.
Is this the kind of book where you open it up and steam already comes out? Is that what we're doing?
On the front of the book, it's the male pirate with his shirt and tatters, holding the woman in his arms.
Just based her entire
Bad
On
romance.
bad romance pirate books?
No, she reads all stories, but she's just
Bad romances and Gilligan's Island. That's what she knows.
Gillian's Island.
And treasure
Okay, you
plaques.
have to give me an. Sorry.
Uninspired.
Worth it.
Sorry. No. You make good points. There is a lot of that.
I'm being so rude. My name's Cabbage.
Is it really?
Yes, that is my actual Christian name.
Yeah, what are your name?
What name?
That is
Oh,
my
so
actual
that is
Empress
Christian.
name.
My impression name.
Impressive imperial name.
It's a term that she's read in books.
Oh.
Has she?
What is this page?
From other lands.
What is this?
What?
Oh, sorry.
What is this?
Ooh. Ah.
Oh!
What is going on?
I like this. I like where this is going.
Yeah.
Right? I'm excited. Like how Keith's over here like, no.
Oh, it's back. It's back.
Let me see more.
Alright, if anyone sees anything that has to do with a gem.
Dang it.
Ah.
Oh, that was the music.
Oh.
There we go.
Stop touching things, Keith.
For those of you who can't see,
Alright,
Keith,
I
we have a
can't.
monitor
God.
right here.
Ah.
They
And
can't see
Keith
this.
was,
Oh,
we have a monitor right here, and Keith was scrolling through so many pages.
Keith was trying to get to the right page and he kept popping up a supplement for magic items on our screen.
Magic items for fighters and rogues.
Ah.
Do not look behind the curtain.
Pay no attention to them.
Need an adorable bowler hat for that position.
But yes, that's my real name, Cabbage. Believe it or not, my parents are farmers. They've got a whole vegetable patch of children.
So how did you? Where did you read about pirates then?
Any book I could get my
Books.
hands on. I love stories.
You don't mind that pirates often kill people?
Well, I've killed a lot of people.
This is like, lady, my body count's pretty high.
Well, as I've seen it, at least in the stories that I read, and I do understand that a lot of the stories I read are probably romanticized, but they usually kill for good reasons. But the bad people that they're killing. Probably. Most of the time.
I just started waiting for it to be like, 85%. Oh, maybe 75%.
Let's go with
At
half.
least half. Well, 40. Just slowly working
Sometimes.
backwards. There are numbers of times. It's a non-zero number.
It's a
At least
non-zero
more than
number.
one. I think Keith just crashed.
Nope.
Oh, wait, hold on.
No,
What?
it's all good. It's all good.
It scares me that he's trying to do something.
Yeah, I have
Alright.
concerns.
Not dollars to donuts, she has a magic item.
So what brings you to our neighborhood today?
That's a good question.
Well, so I'm from Setterton. I end up here with Captain Greybeard sometimes. I can read Thieves' Cant. So
Can you now?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of just have
That's fact.
things marked out there for anybody to read, so
Okay.
it wasn't particularly hidden. Just saying.
We're not particularly hiding.
That's fair. But I was curious. I've
Vegetable card is terrible. Dude.
I've heard rumors being in and out of Lamont Swells. I was just curious. I didn't actually expect to meet a real pirate, if that's what you are. No offense, ma'am.
I thought the outfit was a giveaway.
That's what I thought too.
I mean, Chuck seems like a real stand-up gentleman, but he could have just been pulling my leg. I only just met him.
If he was pulling your leg,
It would come off.
you'd know. It would come off.
That's fair. It's really hard not to make jokes about the name, but I do have a name. Look, my literal name is a vegetable, so I do understand. I won't do it. Sorry.
It's quite alright.
I never caught your name.
I never gave it.
Funny how that works.
Zahra.
Oh, Keith.
Zaha?
Zoa.
Zahra.
Zahra.
How do you spell that?
Z-
Phlegm.
Z-A-F-M.
Zahra.
I'll leave someone else to write that down.
Behold the mighty Zahra!
Zahra.
What's
You
in
have
those
to
little
say it
glass
with
boxes
phlegm.
on the boardwalk, right?
I do. You don't.
Okay, so you won't get offended if I mispronounce it.
No.
Zahra. Zahra.
Zanzibar.
The Zanzibar berry.
It takes time.
I hope to have to say your name many times to get the practice in.
I hope to scream
Say
it.
my name. That's exactly. Say my name. Say it.
So are you looking for adventures then?
Every conversation with my mother.
Stop drinking! I'm in the line of fire!
He does tend to do this though when it's about to happen, so I feel like Lance is in more immediate danger.
Okay,
You're
guys.
in a hurry. It's not one go.
I mean, I've found quite a few adventures on my own.
You broke Kitty.
And they're just a solo adventurer.
So, I had a choir director that would only chuck candy at you if you did something bad. I feel like I just won something. The DM threw something at me.
Yep.
Okay. So, oh yeah.
Solo
Solo
adventure.
Solo adventures, right? So you were just curious about us and figured you would walk right up to us and ask questions.
It's usually the best way to get the answers.
It's also a good way to get a sword through your gut.
That's
I
true.
took that gamble.
I decided to take the risk.
Eh. You're brave, I'll give you that.
Most people call me stupid.
Well, there's a good dash of that too. You
So-
should be careful in the future. I was in a good mood today. Ask Chuck. Some days I'm not.
That's fair. I have bad days too. So, yeah, I'd actually like to learn a little bit more about your organization.
That is a topic that takes a long time to learn. and forgive me for saying it, I don't trust you that much. Not yet.
Fair, you just met me.
Yes.
This meeting's going so well until we all wind up busting down the door to save Cabbage because we can't
Please
find her.
don't.
FBI,
So,
They have a real spark. Let's not interrupt.
Something's going on.
No, it's not like she walked far to get to where she's at. So.
That's true.
and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm getting the maybe inkling that you're not Empress-fearing citizens. Good Empress-fearing citizens. Lawful Empress-fearing citizens.
I will grant you that. No one in our line of work would be.
Neither am I.
Again, forgive me for saying so, but all I have is your word for that.
That's fair. But if there's other people who might be interested in not obeying the Empress, may she die, then I'm
Oh,
interested
I want to start that chant in
in
the
those
street.
people.
Yep.
I
Well,
think it's good to make connections.
that's something we'll have to keep in mind. At the moment, we've got quite a full docket of our own, but I'll keep my ear to the wind, as they say.
That's fair. It was a pleasure meeting you.
It'd be pleasurable to meet you again.
I'll have something in my teeth.
Oh!
She keeps you in her hat.
It's like when a woman in a bra takes her bra off at a concert.
Is it?
Yep.
It's barely on the. It's barely on
It's
the
a
screen.
magic item?
Yes. It's a pirate,
Pirate hat.
It's a wondrous item?
Do you want to?
I can't see all of this.
Increases your swim speed.
Wondrous item is just a category. It's not a like a
You
rarity.
get sea legs.
Yeah, we still can't see it.
It's like oh there, no,
Nope.
Nope.
no more.
There you go.
There it is.
You always know which way is true north. You gain sea legs. While on any waterborne vehicle or vessel, you gain advantage on strength and dexterity checks and saving throws made against the effects that would knock you prone or
That's
overboard.
Cool. Nice.
Are you sure about this?
Well, we're trading, aren't we?
I thought you didn't like my hat.
It's always time for a change, and
I mean, a very good friend of mine made this. He's a great hatter.
I consider it an investment.
All right.
Chuck. And he puts his hand on your
Here
shoulder
we
and
go.
starts pulling you out.
Ow! Ow!
I want that hat back, Chuck.
Nice to meet you,
Remove it
Captain.
with your head.
Well,
Now,
I got it.
Cabbage does not know that
Right.
what Cabbage does not know what Nat knows.
No, Cabbage thinks this is a very pretty hat.
Very pretty lady.
I
What
really
big
thought Cabbage was
changes to the
asexual, but I think she's not.
She just had not had her awakening yet, apparently.
Like I said, Cabbage's orientation is
Pirate.
pirate.
Yep. Specifically, pirate badass.
I apparently closed that window, so I can't see it.
Actually, it says,
Do you want to make changes?
do you want to make
to the
changes
snip?
to the snip? No.
It's gone now.
Okay.
My goodness.
So yeah, we are just going to find you sitting on the street curb like,
Wow.
And so
Petting
Chuck,
her hat.
so Chuck takes you by the shoulder, walks you back out the warehouse, out the door, closes it behind him.
Do I get weird looks walking around with this hat?
A little bit. mostly from the members of the crew. They're like, and Chuck leads you, and he keeps walking you down the street, and he keeps going until he gets to
To the edge of the
the edge of the territory. Don't come back till we ask for you, little sparrow.
Do you ask for me?
Roy.
So is this one of those like you'll find me kind of a thing?
Roy.
Oh, this is like a story.
A few days later, jump cut to us, to them finding of us digging graves up or something.
Pleasure to meet you, Chuck.
And he just turns and walks back up the street. And at this point, he is ignoring you now.
Yes, mate. Nice to meet you. I'm pushing my luck.
I said.
Oh, goodness.
Okay.
I'm just gonna kind of stand there dazed for a minute, just
Okay.
thinking,
Like you do.
and then I'm gonna go find everybody.
Okay.
What does this hat look like?
Charge
It's a pirate
It's a
hat.
pirate hat.
Okay.
I mean,
Well, I mean, like you said, it was nicer
Tricorner.
than mine. Tricorner,
Yeah.
nicer than mine.
yeah. It does actually have, like, it's subtle, you have to look for it, but it does actually have the skull and crossbones, like,
Was this the
sewn
magic?
into it.
That's freaking
Yes! Yes, it was!
I didn't catch that till now. I was distracted, okay?
Yeah, we could
Clearly.
tell. Your jaw was on the floor. There was a little
I
puddle
never
forming
read
at your feet.
Pirates.
Well,
It's impressive. It's okay.
All right, so are you headed back towards the? Where are you going? Where you looking for your friends?
How much time has passed at this point?
I mean, for you, not a lot of time.
like half
'Cause
an
it was-
hour.
Yeah, it was pretty much there and back, so maybe half an hour. So they're still a good ways off.
Okay, I'm gonna head in the general direction of the cloister. I won't go in or anything like that, but just
Okay.
that general direction.
All right. So by the time you guys have gotten together and
Right.
are headed back, you kind of see off to one side, sort of sitting on the curb, her hat in her hands, Cabbage, and go ahead and all of you make perception checks because I want to see if you guys notice.
13.
I have
No.
these inspirations.
Oh wait, no, I have an
should use them.
inspiration.
Yes.
That's better. 17.
No,
Yes.
don't
I
think
might as
so.
well not roll.
I just
All right, so for Killian and for Simi, that's not the hat she was wearing earlier.
Do I see her, like, being all blushy, giddy, stupid?
I mean,
I don't think I'm blushy giddy stupid, but I'm definitely like
Gobsmacked.
thinking about this hat. Processing all the things that just happened.
So, is that like a good hat, or is that like a hat you took off a dead person?
You do something one time with the best intentions.
The way I figure it, either someone gave you a new pirate hat because they liked you, or you killed someone and took it off them.
Or bought it.
Someone
Or
gave me this hat.
So you had it was good. You
It
learned about
Was good.
Great.
I met a lady pirate.
Is that good?
If I'm to
Yes.
judge by her facial response, I'm gonna say yeah.
Like a river pirate?
I mean, we're on a river.
A general all-purposes pirate that just kind of pirates where they are. Pirate where they're planted.
I can wear that on t-shirts.
You're right. Pirate where you're planted.
Yeah, that area. I'm not supposed to go
keeps
back
doing it.
till they call for me.
I thought you said this was good,
It was.
but you can't go back there
But you
until
got
they ask.
you got a ban.
No, it's
They
not.
kicked you out.
No, she gave. No.
You just said you can't go back until they ask for you.
That sounds like they gave you a fancy hat
That's-
and kicked you out.
You got a Burger King crown and kicked out
Basically that's what happened. Burger King
We
crown.
had a combo. We're on a street.
So, like, are we gonna have a meeting with them at some point? Like, how?
I'm a maybe, but not anytime soon. That a
Long
good
game. We're doing long game on
contact
that one.
to have.
Okay,
Yes.
so
They are probably of the strain of
on the street.
they're of a similar persuasion to us. I understand.
yeah.
And they're so we're gonna have to wait here a while before we can
No, I
ever
think,
go back there.
me.
So hang on. So you can never go back to the docks
No,
until they ask for you.
not exactly.
And you don't know how long it'll be before they ask you to come back.
Yes,
And you don't even know if they will ask you to come back.
I think they will.
But there's
So
a lot to
you're
be done not on the
Just
bus.
gonna wait here till they do?
No, we're gonna go about our business, do what we do,
Adventuring.
and maybe when we come back, this is a good contact to have.
Okay.
We just don't take her to the docks.
Oh,
Just not that particular section of the docks.
I don't know when,
I imagine this
if
is
we're ever coming back, so
it's a
Fair.
good contact to have. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
it doesn't sound bad. I'm not sure how
Yeah.
helpful it is if we can't talk to them until they say we can.
Well, I mean, what do we have to talk to them about?
What?
Our friends back home who are of the same persuasion as us.
Yes, but it's gonna be a while before we come back anyway.
Yeah, but our friends are still in town, just
Right, they know Greybeard. So there's a double connection there.
okay. Works for me.
So.
Okay.
So what now?
Well, how long has it been since we left the cloister?
Probably 15, 20 minutes.
Well, in about an hour, we got to go back to the church because we have a meeting we're setting with a friend of Akarai.
We?
Yeah,
Do you want me
who's-
there?
Who's
If
we?
you want to be there,
Can.
How many we's are there?
as many as we want there to be.
But I suspect at least us three, but if you guys want to, that's not a problem.
Why not? Show off my new fancy hat. Castian's gonna be mad.
If you've got other stuff you need to do, that's fine.
No, I'm just. The longer that I've been away from that shop, the more worried I am that she closed up just after noon.
What?
You want
I
to
feel
swing
like
back by
that's
and
fair.
see?
Does she live there?
No,
does
I
she
don't
live
know! I don't know!
I mean, there's only one floor. And it didn't look like there was a back room.
On the other hand, it would be real suspicious if we just, like, go search her out.
You're not
Yeah,
wrong.
you just being like paranoid.
I don't know, it might not be that suspicious. If she asks us, we can just say we were just got a bad feeling, wanted to double check.
That sounds weird.
Let's leave it be. I'll go back in the morning. If we're not dead by then
Are we planning on being dead by then? I mean,
I feel like it's just
every
sort of
day that is
Yeah.
my plan.
to not
To
be dead.
not be dead or to be dead?
To not be dead if I can help it.
I feel
good
like
plan.
that's a good plan to have.
All right. So what are you guys doing?
Waiting
time
around
to
until
kill.
the meeting.
So, my thoughts, if we have a bunch of time,
Get your barrels.
no. I really want to see what the sewers are like.
At night.
No. I mean, like, I want to see what the outside of them is like. I want to see where the connection. If we're gonna go under there,
Oh, you
I
want
want to know where our,
I mean,
where
so,
our exits.
so
are
we
gonna
can,
be.
but I'm. The only problem there is going to be like.
I'm talking about retreats. If we go under there and we have to.
No,
work
yeah,
it
but
out,
there's no guarantee that like if we follow it on the surface to try and see like the layout of it, there's no guarantee that like it follows the roads.
Right. But I want to know where they're coming out because we've seen a couple of them now, yeah. But I would like to know where
That's
more of
actually
them
not
are.
a terrible use of our time.
Sure.
So we'll go scout out other
For the
sewer
45 minutes
entrances.
we've got, that's probably not bad.
Okay. So we will say that you guys spend 45 minutes to an hour doing that.
Just plotting out the ones that are closest there.
And we are going to leave it there because that is a good stopping point
And
for
it's
tonight.
10:30.
And it's 10:30. And we've been going for over 3.5 hours. So it's a long session.
Good game.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. Hope you had a good time. Hope you guys had a good time.
Love you guys.
And we will be back with you next week. Hopefully, we will have, at very least, Daniel with us next week. And we'll see
I
about
know.
Hopefully,
Steph.
sure,
And
but-
hopefully Steph
if one
is
of them
okay.
is missing, I suspect both of them will be
Yeah, it
missing
might
for
be both of
contact
them.
reasons.
So we'll see how that goes.
Keep
But we
you
will
posted.
we will keep you posted. If we need to make any changes to the schedule, we will let you guys know by posting on our Discord server. If you're not already a member there, haven't already subscribed, that's where we put all of our announcements regarding any changes to the schedule. Our normal schedule is 6:30 p.m. Mountain Time. I leave it up to you to figure out what that is in your own time zone. But if we have any changes, we do post those to Discord for you guys to know.
Did you say 6 or 6:30?
I said 6:30. We do also have the YouTube channel. It's not a custom URL, so ignore all that part. You can just go to YouTube, search for Casual Cactus, and you should be able to find us. All of the video content that we create does get posted there. Back episodes, one-shots, extra content. A lot of fun stuff. You can go check that out, see what we've got going on. If you're there, if you're a member and have hit the little bell icon, you will always be notified when I put content up. I'm not the greatest at keeping to a regular schedule. I'm behind by one episode at this point. I'm going to do my best to get that caught up, and you guys can always find all of that there. That's all we've got for tonight. Hope you had fun. Remember...
Grab your bats and grab your balls.
And if all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a glass house. Good night, everybody.